There we go. All right. Hello and welcome to episode 149. My goodness. Which this is technically episode 150 if you count episode 0, but yeah. So 150 of
Honored.
these exist. The playlist will say 150. Fun fact. So, well,
It's an honor to be on for number technically 150.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
pretty sick.
technically. It'll be numbered 149, but I mean, the real
Yeah,
ones
yeah,
know,
yeah.
right? Hmm.
Right, exactly. Shout outs to the real ones.
True. Well, speaking of real ones, introduce yourself.
So hi, I go by a few different names, but I go by Glitch Doctor on YouTube, but I also go by GlitchPhD, and that was kind of a thing that I changed my name because I had started my YouTube channel when I was like 13 and I made some stuff and I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. Then I was looking at it and I'm like, it's kind of cringe now. I want to just do speedrunning now. That was like a thing that fascinated me after a while. So I changed my name to Glitch PhD. But then I started my YouTube channel back up in 2021 and I went back to Glitch Doctor. So now it's just kind of like I've got a couple of names out in the ether, but that's
They
just
mean the same thing, right?
yeah, pretty much. I kind of just did the whole the PhD thing because I was like, oh yeah, some doctors, they have PhD, so I'm like, yeah, kind of a no-brainer, I guess.
Mhm.
But
It
yeah,
works
hi,
either
I'm
way.
Glitch Doctor, PhD, whatever you want to call me.
Yes. The socials are down there, so, you know, to make it as not confusing as possible,
Thank you, thank you.
of
And
course.
also because I couldn't change some of my names because they're like people had already taken Glitch Doctor on
Mm.
like Twitch or something, so it's like,
I can
okay.
imagine it
But
not too uncommon a choice compared to others.
yeah, yeah,
Well,
um,
speedrunning. Good topic, I think.
yeah, I like it.
Yeah, that's good,
So
actually. It'd be weird if we didn't, I guess, but
yeah, I don't really care for it, but we'll talk
mm,
about it for a couple hours or something, however long this will go on for. So yeah,
well,
but
fair enough.
yeah, no. So I'll let you go ahead. Sorry.
Well, yep. I mean, I just always the first question I always start things off with is how you got introduced to the concept and got started with it yourself.
Absolutely. So some of my early speedrun days are kind of lost. I forgot a little bit of them, but I'll do my best to piece things together.
Hmm.
So, and I believe this started with again the YouTube channel that I mentioned back back in like 2013 when I started, and I had making some of these videos that are just about glitches in games and stuff. So that was already kind of a thing that I like to do, talk about them. And then I had some people in the comments, that would comment, and I would try to react to every single one,
Hmm.
respond to them and stuff, and like it all and all that. And sometimes I would add these people on Skype, which was the thing back in the day before Discord was even a thing. They were like, "Oh yeah, add me on Skype." So I'm like, "Hey, you know what? I'll add these people."
Hmm.
And some of them became some of my really good friends, some of my best friends even, meeting through the comments section on YouTube. So it was some of them. There was a couple of them. Uh, Goober13 and Super Saiyan Pikmin, that's what he went by. I think he still goes by that or something. But anyways, he actually I think he changed his name, right? He changed his name. But anyways, it was them. They were kind of like, "Oh yeah, there's this like speedrunning thing and it seems pretty cool." I'm like, "Okay, I never knew what speedrunning was." But they were like, "Hey, cuz you play Luigi's Mansion, right? Do you want to do like a speedrun race or something?" I'm like, "Okay." Having literally never done a speedrun in my life. I'm like, that sounds pretty fun. I know the game well. I've been playing it since I was like 5, so that's just like I'd be down for that. I can do that. So we started a race on Speedruns Live, right? Speedruns Live, yeah, Speedruns Live, and and we did like normal mansion because Goober13 was from Europe, and he had the PAL version of Luigi's Mansion, which the hidden mansion is it's a for anyone who doesn't know the Luigi's Mansion, you got the main game, the mansion, right? But you beat it all the way through once on like a brand new file, and then you save the game afterwards. And on that new save game file, you get like a counter that says how many times you beat it. So like one, the counter goes up to 99, and then after that, it won't save any numbers further. But either way, as soon as you beat the game once, save it, you go into the file again, and then you get the option for the hidden mansion. So that's a thing where in the game, because you're sucking up ghosts with a vacuum, the vacuum will become more powerful, like twice the speed. I said 1.5 times in the documentary that I put on YouTube about the game, but it's it seems more common that it's probably like, oh, that was a term that was used online a lot, so I kind of just went with that. But it seems more akin to like it's twice as powerful. So you use that. But for some reason, they wanted the hidden mansion to be so much more than just, oh yeah, you get a more powerful vacuum. No, they wanted it to be like a different experience, and they didn't have enough time because Luigi's Mansion was a GameCube launch title to do that right away for the Japanese and the US versions. So by the time they got to the European version, which was released like almost a year later or something after the GameCube was first released in Japan, um they had they had put this newer idea of they mirrored the mansion kind of like in Mario Kart you got the mirror cup. It's basically like that. The mansion's darker, the ghosts are all different and a lot harder sometimes, especially even the boos that you capture throughout the game, they can be quite a challenge. The whole thing is just harder in general. And now I'm saying all this because my friend Goober has the PAL version, and so he couldn't compete on the Hidden Mansion with us having the US version because that's so much different. It's harder and it takes longer to beat, so it's like it'd be completely unfair. So we all ran on the normal mansion, and that was my first entrance into speedrunning. I did that, and I had a lot of fun. Uh, I won't mention, who won, me.
Mm.
But anyways, like I had we did that a couple of times, and it was pretty fun. And then that from there spiraled into, okay, I'm gonna go online, I'm gonna see what people are doing. And then I was watching YouTube videos. I got into Twitch from that. I was watching Twitch streams. I was there for some of the classic stuff. Like I was there the days leading up to and the day during when Narcissa Wright got the Ocarina of Time 1810, the old any% route, which is now something else. I can't remember
Mm.
what it's called. But I remember watching that live because I was like, oh, dude, this is pretty cool. And then the record was done, like, yo, that's sick. I got to witness this. But that kind of just spiraled into like, okay, yeah, I'm liking speedrunning more and more. And there's people like Fire Dragon now. He still streams, but he was doing a lot of Luigi's Mansion back then, and that was like a big streamer that I would watch Luigi's Mansion speedruns of. So that's
Mm.
pretty much how I got into speedrunning.
So that was a while ago then. I didn't think I heard the year, but do you know runtime?
Yeah, that was like 2013,
Mm.
2014. I really started the whole um starting to get into speedrunning with the speedruns live stuff. That was like 2013, but it really didn't pick up until 2014 was when I started doing more speedruns, and I did my first official like run, you know, to submit to the leaderboards. I did that like that summer of 2014 or something like that. And that was pretty much like the big time when I started doing all the speedrunning stuff, and it really kicked in the full gear. So
So that was the game you submitted to first.
yeah, that was my first game. And I was like, dude, this is fun. I will do this more and more. Like I'm trying to beat my best personal times, and at the time the speedrunning just scene for that game, like it was still fairly new. I mean, it people were doing speedruns and stuff before 2014, before 2013, but it wasn't quite as common. I at least I feel it wasn't quite as common. But that's when more people started to get into it and be like, oh yeah, there's these newer strategies that are coming out. And nowadays, someone getting into Luigi's Mansion speedruns, it'll be a completely different experience. There are so many more strategies that you can use that can help you save time. Some of them are hard, quite hard, but it can help you improve so much faster than what we used to do, I guess. It's kind of like an old head way of talking, but it's just that's just how it was.
Mhm. The game also has quite a bit of luck.
Yeah.
It's one of
It's
those
not one of the
runs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I'll say this, Luigi's Mansion is easy to learn and pick up. Like it's fairly easy, I should say. There are some things in the game that are like, yeah, this is kind of a pain in the ass or something. It just you got to kind of work through it. A couple of the bosses, especially the final boss,
Mhm.
but it's easy to learn, but it can be difficult to master. Not to mention, for one thing, the RNG, that's a big factor in the entire run. It's kind of unfortunate because there's a lot. When you get to like a really top level, that's when the RNG really starts to matter. Um, and that's when a lot more resets occur. Uh, but if you're just starting out, it's really not that bad. Like you'll improve more uh mechanically before you really have to worry about RNG. Like when you first start running, not a big deal really. So
Mhm. So the swings aren't that time costly.
yeah, it's like it's not that bad, like I said, but it's just when you start getting so much better and like where you kind of need good RNG,
Mhm.
because especially because the booze in the game, that's a big thing a big part of the RNG, and that you kind of need to collect them for US and Japanese, basically for the mansion on every version, and the hidden mansion on the US and Japanese versions. You need to collect 40. You need to collect 40 boos to get to the final boss, King Boo, because they'll be hidden in the mansion after like during the second area, you'll release them in the mansion, then you go and find them only in lit up rooms and you can capture them. And they're different from like capturing normal ghosts, but it the strategy is not that bad, but when the boos get much higher health later on in the game, that's when it can be a little bit of a pain, and they'll escape from you easier unless you like have had a lot of practice with it and you know how they work, so you can kind of like adjust your movement and make very fine movement revisions and stuff. Like yeah, it's a whole big process, but when you're starting out,
Mhm.
I would say it's not that bad. It's just a little bit to get into. But mostly the game is easy. So
And lit up rooms means just clearing it out.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, because pretty much like the entire mansion will be dark by the time you first get in there. But as you progress through rooms, you capture ghosts. You'll end up clearing the rooms, and you'll light up. And sometimes these rooms will spawn a chest with a key, or just some sort of a key in general. So that way you can unlock the next door to progress to the next room and stuff. It's fairly linear. There are some ghosts that are in the throughout the mansion that are not required to beat. Uh but that's more so like you worry about that for 100% and stuff, those different categories. But for like the main, when you're just playing the game from start to finish just to beat it with like the minimal requirements necessary, that's what we call any percent no out of bounds. That's that category. And it's like the first one you see when you pop up on the speedrun.com leaderboards for Luigi's Mansion. So
Yeah, it's definitely the most popular one, right?
yeah, because that's the one people go to the most. I know some people have started on 100%, and that's even more
Hmm.
because there's much more nuance with that. You've got to worry about collecting money, and that's like it can be a big hassle, especially if you're just starting out with the game. But yeah, any percent no out of bounds is like the thing that people will run. It's the thing that I ran for a while, and I never touched any other category until one of my friends coerced me into like, "Hey, you should do 100% sometime." I'm thinking, I really don't want to. I like no out of bounds, but it's just eventually I did it, and I'm like, actually, no, this isn't that bad. But
It's nice to
just
switch
starting
it
out,
up.
yeah, any percent out of bounds.
Mhm.
Sorry.
It's nice to switch it up.
Yeah, 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 it is. Some people will say that 100% is the real category because it's just like there's so much more in it, and people like it for its more competitive nature. I mean, the whole thing is competitive, but
It's like a
some people
120
just
star
like,
type deal.
yeah, yeah, pretty much. So
Mm.
it's like they just like there's more of it, and there's so much more you gotta think about, like the money thing. There's so much more you gotta think about, like route wise. Okay, what money do I collect? What shouldn't I bother collecting? Like, if you go out of your way to get something, that's gonna lose more time. So you want to save as much time as possible. And
Mm.
yeah.
Well, just to clarify to the audience, I guess, I have never played the game. So my knowledge of the game is very limited, let alone the speedrun stuff involved. So just so I get a better understanding about like the category differences, like what do you have to do in 100% over just
So
beating the game?
right. So over any percent out of bounds. So for 100%, you well, of course, you beat the game. You collect throughout the entire mansion. When you release the booze that I was mentioning earlier, there are 50 total. So you capture all of them, and once you capture all of them, the 50th one will drop a gold diamond, which is worth 20 million of the in-game currency.
Hmm.
So you need to get all 50 boos. You need to pretty much clear not every room, but all the rooms that have like ghosts and stuff, like the portrait ghosts, because there's I guess you could say there are three different types of ghosts in the game. There's the normal ghosts, that's your standard gold, purple puncher, blue twirler, a lot of the ones you'll see in like the very first rooms of the game. But then, like in Area 1, after like the first three rooms, then you'll get these ghosts that are completely different and they have their own personalities and names, like Neville, Lydia, Chauncey, who's the first boss in the game. Those are called portrait ghosts, so they have their own thing, and they're called portrait ghosts because unlike the normal ghosts, these portrait ghosts, once you capture them, uh, they'll be put in the portrait by Egad and hung up in the display on his gallery that he's got back in his lab, because Professor Egad, that's like this guy that's just kind of hanging out outside of the mansion, just in this little shack. But he's like, no, this mansion just appeared one day, and it's like, okay, that's weird.
Hmm.
But no, he's just chilling there, and he's got his gallery and stuff, and because of course the whole main objective is to get Mario, right? But
Mhm.
to save Mario, but right, I'm getting off topic. 100%. So, like I said, clear all the rooms that have portrait ghosts, all the rooms that you need, not every room. Get all the booze. Collect at least 100 million of the in-game currency, because at the end of every run, what'll happen is you'll go through the whole thing with Egad. You'll save Mario, take him out of the painting, and all that. But you're also counting up your money, and at the end of every run, it'll tell you what rank you achieve from how much money you've got. So you can achieve different ranks at the end of the game. They don't do anything functionally. They just show you like, oh yeah, you got this rank. It's not like, yo, you got this rank and now you can do something else with it. Like it
Mhm.
doesn't show up anywhere else. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, you got this rank. And then you can see the amount of money that you got, your high score of the entire game in Egad's gallery. But there's like, jeez, I think there's, yeah, 8 ranks. Yeah,
Mm.
8 ranks, A through H, and so you're looking to get the A rank, the top rank, which is you collect at least 100 million of the in-game currency. There is more than that throughout the game, but you just need 100 million. It's not like
Mhm.
some people are saying like, oh yeah, well, 100%, wouldn't that mean getting everything, getting every piece of money? You could do that, and there is a category for that, but it's not 100% because even if when you do get every single bit of money, the game doesn't do anything special. It doesn't give you an S rank or anything or an A plus. It just gives you the same old A rank.
Mhm.
There's like
You're
nothing really
obtaining the
different
highest
about it.
possible achievement as far as the game's concerned. So
Yeah,
that's 100%
exactly.
is, yeah.
That's 100%. So you just collect the A rank, um, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
I know the bigger the rank, the bigger the little mansion picture you get at the end.
Yeah, exactly. So that's part of it too, is like they'll
Mhm.
show you how much money you collected and once you beat the game, because this mansion just apparently, like I said, EGAT was saying that, oh yeah, this mansion just showed up out of nowhere one day. Because
Hmm.
there's just this old guy chilling in the woods in this shack. Like, I'm not gonna, not gonna knock it or anything, but he's just like, oh yeah, there's this mansion. And then once you beat the mansion disappears, and whatever money you collect from that, this dark mansion, whatever money you collect, you can then you'll essentially build a new mansion in its place and be like, okay, no, I want this, this big old house or something. And you could get as much as, like I said, 100 million, and you get this nice big fancy mansion. It's like, wow, this is great. And you'll even see it in the background of Mario Kart Double Dash, another GameCube game. You'll see in the background the A rank mansion. It's like, oh yeah, okay,
Mhm.
that's nice.
In
That's
Luigi's
where it
Circuit,
is.
yeah.
Yeah, in Luigi's Circuit. So it's just kind of like, yeah, it's just chilling out in the background. But in Luigi's Mansion, if you collect the least amount of money, you won't have much for anything. You'll get a tent. You'll just a
Nice.
tent plopped up on the property. That's it. Bro's living.
So
Not well, but
that's not the lore ending then. It's not the real ending.
yeah, I know. Not the lore ending. Not if it showed them in
Mhm.
Double Dash. No. But
Well, so yeah,
although
you need the
I
true ending for 100%. You could just call it true ending.
yeah, pretty much the true ending. Even though I want to say I could be wrong about this, but I believe in the game following Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which that was a game that took, I think it was 12 years after the first game was released
I
for
know
them
it
to
was the
release another
3DS
Luigi's
game.
Mansion title.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like, or was that, no, was that 11? Because 2012, 2013, I don't remember when the game
Over
was,
a
but it was something
decade.
like that. Over a decade, yeah, exactly. And I believe in that game, like in the beginning cutscene, you see like the picture of the mansion and like the mansion that you achieved from the first game, and I believe it's like the D rank mansion or something crazy like that. So it's kind of like,
Hmm.
okay, what's the real lore here? Like, so
Mario
I don't
lore
know.
is too confusing. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but
So, is there a way to keep track of how much money you've collected during the run?
so occasionally, yeah. So what you get in the game, you have your trusty little Game Boy Horror. That's like the thing that EGAD gives you throughout the game. You can use it to scan objects. You can use it to scan portrait ghosts, their hearts, and they'll give you like different messages and stuff about what they're thinking.
Mhm.
Um, but like the Game Boy Horror also has some other functions too, and one of them being it does show you the money that you collect. It won't give you like a full total of how much you've collected. Like right now, like, oh, you've collected 36 million G. It won't tell you that. It will
Mm.
tell you like you've collected this many coins, this many gold bars, this many bills, and this many of each different gem, right? So it will tell
Oh,
you
okay.
some stuff like that. So you can do that. What you can do throughout the run, though, is after every boss that you beat, you go back to Egad's lab and put all the portrait ghosts from that area that you collected into this ghost portrificationizer that Egad's got up in his little shack there. And what it does, of course, it turns all the portrait ghosts into paintings, so he can hang them up in his gallery. But at the end of all of that, you count up your money, and it will tell you the total that you've collected as of this point in time.
Mm.
So occasionally during the runs, like just to see what kind of pace we're on, we won't know what kind of money exactly that we've got until we beat the boss, and then we kind of glance at the number briefly. sometimes on Japanese it's a little glitchy
Hmm.
because sometimes we won't see the initial counter at the very bottom, but you skip to the next screen and it's asking, do you want to save this game? And you will see your money there. But if you mash fast enough on Japanese for whatever reason, sometimes it'll just be all zeros, and it's like, okay, I
Oh,
missed the initial counter at the bottom. I missed that the thing was all zeros. Like, I don't know what's happening, but usually we're pretty good about that, like not missing the counter and be like, okay, I've got like 19,800,000 out of area 2. Like that's pretty good. Depends on your route too, because some people have harder routes that skip certain things.
mhm.
But I use a bit more of an easier route. I'm not that good
Yeah,
at
because it
100%.
sounds like obviously you want to get like as close to exact as possible, optimally. Like you don't want to
Yeah, you.
collect too
Yeah, I mean,
much. But I
yeah,
feel
pretty
like
much. You
you
don't
can
want to waste
might
too
with
much
a number
time.
that big, it's possible to just accidentally undershoot it a bit, especially if you don't have the
Yeah.
counter. Has that happened before? Like, oh, I got a
Oh,
good run. Oh, whoops.
oh yeah, there's quite a bit of that, but
Okay.
that you can get backup money throughout the run. But what helps also is on Japanese only, by the way. Even though that's not what Snap told me, but I haven't been able to recreate it on US. So I mentioned Snap, the runner Snap. He just goes by Snap now, but he used to go by like Snap 32. I mentioned him in my documentary on YouTube, but he said that, oh yeah, you can duplicate pearls on the US version, and I never could do that, but everyone else can like easily duplicate pearls on the Japanese version. So what that means is um so for each portrait ghost, they when you're capturing them, they drop pearls. And I believe it's like, because they drop different size pearls. They have drop small size, medium size, and a large pearl. So when you're capturing them, if you get them from each portrait ghost starts at 100 HP. If you get them from 100 down to 10, so basically, if you uh as soon as you start capturing them, if you get them down 90 HP like first try without them breaking off, they'll spawn the large pearl. So they'll be, in total, they will have dropped 4 small pearls, 4 medium pearls, and 1 large pearl. So that's usually what you want to get. But really, the large pearl is the big thing because of each different size pearl is a different amount of money, right? So I believe the small pearl is like 50,000 and the medium is like 100,000, but the large pearl is 1 million. And of course, you're reaching your goal of 100 million in money. They call it G. I'm assuming that means gold. I don't know, but it's 100 million G. So you get a large pearl, and that's 1 million already right there. On Japanese, what you can do is you can do this thing that we call a vacuum cancel, where we and this mostly happens commonly when you get the element in the game. I know, I'm sorry, I'm dropping a ton of like Luigi's Mansion lore right now, and it's just like, wait, what's happening? But
It's got to happen
um,
eventually.
yeah. So I have to explain a lot more that found I didn't think I need to, but because it's just second nature to me. But um, what you would do is during the game you collect certain elements. There's fire, water, and ice, and you collect them from these little medallions that will pop up out of a chest. So what they do is, like, let's say you get the fire medallion that is in area 2. So you get this medallion, Egat will talk to you about it and be like, oh hey, this will help you on certain candles, certain um areas, like certain sources of fire. You can put your vacuum up to it, and a little fire spirit will come out of it. You can capture that, and then you can blow fire out of your vacuum. Like, okay, that's pretty cool. I didn't know vacuums could do that. But for stuff like that, and that happens with water and ice too, eventually. But for stuff like that, you can get some of the element, and you can do a vacuum cancel, which when normally you're pulling out your vacuum in a lit up room, um, Luigi will take take some time to do an animation of pulling the vacuum out physically. That takes a little bit, but you can cancel it by shooting a ball of element, or like shooting element really quickly that it just like instantly shoots a ball down to the ground, and you can do that, which will like skip that animation of him pulling it out the vacuum, but you can do that and then instantly go right into the vacuum. So you're much quicker pulling out your vacuum instead of waiting for him to pull it out, taking the time and all doing all that. So you can do one of those vacuum cancels with the element, and you can do that into a pearl. And on the Japanese version only, what you'll end up doing is you'll end up collecting a large pearl. You can collect it by both walking into it and vacuuming it up at the exact same time, because you can. That's two ways you can collect monies. You can walk into it, or you can suck it up with your vacuum. But doing that vacuum cancel thing, like a certain distance away, depending on what element you do, each element is a little bit different, so it'll feel a little different for each thing you want to do with the pearls, but you can essentially duplicate pearls. That's what we call pearl dupes. And you can do that for every type of pearl, even certain objects that act the way pearls do, like a gold bar or something. You can't do it with bills, you can't do it with coins, because the way the pearls work, and the gold bars work, when you got your vacuum out, if you got it out near one of those objects, the vacuum will auto lock onto that object, like the pearl and stuff. So you can, for some reason, those things you can do the like duplication on those. You can do it on the pearls, on the gold bars. I've even done it on a heart before, and it shows you like double the because a heart is it regenerates your life, so you get damaged by ghosts or something, or a chandelier falls on your head. Ow, I've lost 20 HP, right? So you can get a heart, and that'll refill your HP some, so you don't die. And you can duplicate a heart too, so you can get like I think a large heart refills like 50 HP, so you can duplicate the heart and get 100 HP max like instantly, and it's like, oh, that's pretty cool. But yeah, that sort of the duplication thing right there, we use that for the pearls, and that helps out so much for 100%. So that's like the main thing that people use.
Okay.
I'm sorry
I'm,
if I just dropped it.
I'm making sure I processed all that.
If you need to ask me like repeat questions, feel free, because I could literally talk about this game all day. And I'm sorry if it's like, oh yeah, I talk about one thing, then I explain something else, then I explain something else, but it's just kind of like, with me, I'll just start talking about something and be like, oh right, like people that are watching this may not know any of this at all, so I'm like, geez,
I've been there, so
but yeah.
I get it. When you know a game so well, and it's like, oh, everyone knows this. Like, everyone knows what a frame rule is. But no, that's why they have to explain it every 2 seconds, actually. Not
Yeah.
everyone does.
It's like a bus.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, we've
not
heard that
anymore.
before.
Now it's a ski lift. You gotta stay up to date.
It's a ski lift. Okay, I haven't heard
Yeah,
of that one.
exactly, right? Well, you didn't know
Oh
that?
man.
No. But
Yeah.
that's
Oh
exactly the
man.
point. Yeah. Once
Yeah.
you
So
can't just
feel
assume
free to
everyone
ask
knows.
repeat questions. Yeah.
Well, we'll see how it goes. But let's see. What was the point I was? Oh yeah, so you can there's definitely been lost to runs where it's like, oh cool, I got this like 100% run, but it was like short, like
Yep.
a
Oh
little
yeah.
bit. It's like, well, never mind.
Because you're not entirely sure
Mm-hmm.
if you've got the money or not. You got a feeling like, oh, I feel like I've got this. And a lot of 100% runners will be like, yeah, no, I definitely have the money. Like, no doubt about it. And they look at the end, they're like, I've got 99.84 million. Like, how did I miss that? What? But
That's
you've
gotta
also
suck.
you've also had some people, I'll mention specifically Javoxib, I believe that's how he pronounces it. He's a runner from Mexico, and years ago, he's not the only one to do this either, but years ago, because he made a clip on his Twitch about it, that he got to the end screen counting all the money and stuff, and he counting it, it was 100 million on the dot. And it's
Ooh,
just like,
wow.
You couldn't have got closer. That was 1 coin away, and 1 coin is like 5,000. That was 1 coin away from it not being having the money. It wasn't a PB, but it was just like he's like, look at that. Oh, 100 million flat. Like you can't get any closer than that. But it's crazy.
Okay, so
So
is there randomness with the money? Like the drops you
Ye
get?
oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There were some because there were certain objects that'll spawn a certain amount of money no matter what. Like every time you're guaranteed to get that money.
Mhm.
But there are some objects throughout the mansion you'll like vacuum up a vase and then like wait for it to spin enough and either it will shoot out some money if that one happens to like shoot out money based on luck or not, or it'll shoot out a heart, or it'll shoot out a poison mushroom. You don't want poison mushrooms because you get that, you lose money, and you're small Luigi, and you can't interact with anything until like 10 to 15 seconds after when you finally become large again. And you also lose some health, so it's a bit of a crapshoot sometimes, but you'll either get, like I said, in certain objects, you'll either spawn some money, and some objects will be like, yeah, you can either get in this phase, you can either get 5 coins or 10 coins. Like it'll be a fixed amount of money every time if you happen to spawn that money. But it'll be like money, heart, poison mushroom, or just dust. And it's like,
Mm.
okay, if it's dust and you know that that thing spawns money, you can come back to it later and check it again, and maybe it'll be different this time. Maybe it'll actually have the money.
Hmm.
And that's a problem that people that run max percent getting every single bit of money, that is something that happens so often and it's so annoying. But for 100% it's not as bad because unlike max percent where with max percent you can't even do the duplication on pearls and stuff. You can't duplicate anything. It's got to be all legit. Like
Mhm.
I want to say that's like considered like source something, kind of like an ocarina of time.
Mhm.
Every basically source bit of money that you don't duplicate, you have to get. But with 100%, you don't have to worry about that. You can duplicate pearls, you can duplicate whatever, as long as if you can duplicate it, then it's allowed in 100%, like no problem. But it like missing certain bits of money, especially when there are quite a few of them, like these 2 chandeliers in the second room in the anteroom. Okay, they won't spawn money. Okay, that kind of sucks. And you continue going. Okay, this other wardrobe, it doesn't spawn. It's not spawning money today, and it's like, all right, that really sucks. So you have to make up for it at some point, and duping can help a lot with the making up part of the process. Sometimes you may have to get a gem that's just a little bit out of the way, but it's but most of the time, I think a lot of top runners will they'll just bank on pearl dupes. They'll have to get more if they need to,
Mhm.
but that can also kind of be a bit of an annoyance sometimes because sometimes you won't get the pearl dupe just because you didn't do it right or something. So yeah, it's 100% is quite a bit more to get into, but
Mhm.
yeah.
So, in layman's terms, a particular 100% route that might work isn't guaranteed to work.
Yeah, it all depends on what the runner does, how the runner does it.
Mhm.
Like it, because like I said, you can try to make up for it. It's just, yeah, it may be a bit more problematic. A problematic route is what I would consider
Mhm.
it as, and that's more the top runners that do that stuff. Sometimes they're really good and they can get like pearl duplications like on the spot. Like all the pressure's on them, and they're like, okay, I'll just do it, and they just do it. They don't miss it or anything like that. It's pretty cool. But sometimes you got those runs where it's just okay, I missed some RNG money. Okay, now I missed that pearl dupe, and I only have so many portrait ghosts remaining throughout the run that I could pearl dupe on. And you got that kind of like mindset in your head. Okay, I can pearl dupe here, here, and here. Okay, I missed that dupe. All right, I'll get it there. And okay, maybe I'll try to get pearl dupes more often because um in certain runs like depending on whatever route you do, some people will do more dupes in favor of skipping other money. Um, and that can be like, it can be a bit of a problem if you don't happen to get those dupes, then you're putting your run more in jeopardy. But yeah, it's it's like I said, compared to No Out of Bounds, 100% is quite a bit more to get into, and
Hmm.
the reasons that I've just explained is a lot of the reasons why
Yeah,
it's a lot
because
more to
you
get
don't have
into.
to worry
So
about money at all in any percent.
yeah, yeah, you just go. You're like, I don't care, I'll just do it. Even though you still gotta worry about RNG with some
Yeah.
of that stuff, the booze and some of the ghosts. So it's just,
So, I actually got a question from all that is since there is like a max money run, how does that work if there's like RNG with how much you get?
So okay, so maybe I didn't explain that. I'm sorry. I may have missed that a little bit. So when you get there are certain things that will spawn money if they do spawn money, but it will be a certain fixed amount of money every time. So it's not like you activate a vase and sometimes it'll be this much money, sometimes it'll be that much money. That
Okay.
doesn't happen. So I'm sorry, I may have misspoke the last time. But yeah, no, it will be a certain fixed amount of money every time.
Okay.
It's just whether you get it or not at the time you're checking it.
Hmm.
So
So
that's
any run can get max money.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It just takes longer. That's pretty much what it
Yeah,
is.
like RNG is gonna play a factor always. So
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
makes sense. Okay. Well, that clears that up. And then I don't know. Usually, I like do these in kind of like a timeline format from your perspective. Um, so I don't know when this falls in, but obviously the 80% we've been talking about is no out of bounds. So that means there's some out of
Oh.
bounds.
Oh,
Mm,
glitch, Dr. Glitch. Yeah, I
yeah,
like
yeah.
glitches.
So when does
Yeah.
how does that work?
So, how does that work or when did that start?
I mean
What were we
both.
thinking?
Whatever makes sense.
Okay, okay. Yeah. So that kind of was a thing that happened um as a result of other people that just kind of like they found one thing. So, for instance, in 2011, this channel called Ngamer, NG4MER with a 4 in the place of the A, um, uploaded a video, and this was a particular channel made by two users. It was a dual shared channel. And that was shared by I believe it was Digga and NG707, who just now goes by NG. And NG was the one that uploaded that video. So it was basically where he was doing a speed run of what is now any percent no out of bounds.
Mhm.
And he beat Chauncey, the first boss. And he was gonna after he beat Chauncey, you spawn back in the because when you fight Chauncey, you go from the mansion in Chauncey's room to this like crib in this otherworldly looking place. It's like you're in a whole different zone of existence or whatever. You're just in a giant crib, and a giant Chauncey is coming to fight you. So he got Chauncey, and he spawned back into Chauncey's room. Uh, and you spawn sort of in the middle of the room, and you can move upright to go to the where his afterwards when you beat him, there's a chest that spawns with a key that unlocks the next door to the next area. So he went upright to go to the chest, but instead of hitting the chest and like right away and just opening it, he walked behind the chest,
Hmm.
and while the chest was spawning, it happens to be close enough to the wall that it kind of pinned Luigi up against the wall, and he like didn't have much room for movement. Things looked weird. But then he found using a little bit of movement, knocking on the wall and stuff, moving forward, that he just clipped somehow he went through the wall and clipped in between floors, and it was in a weird place that he called floor 1.5 because
Hmm.
you got floor 1, floor 2, but he called it floor 1.5 because you were in between like at that point he was in between the hallway for area 1 where he already has been through and a room in area 2 down below, and you could see the room in area 2. But he's just kind of stuck in between floors, and he's like, "What happened? Okay, I can do this." And you can still open the doors, some of the doors at least. You can open them and navigate throughout the mansion in between floors. And it was kind of this weird glitchy state, and it's like, okay, yeah, sure, that's weird, but you can do that. But eventually, another user called Clyde Storm did some tests and labbed out a bunch of stuff. And literally, I think it was within. No, okay. I'm thinking of another user, sorry. But basically, Clyde Storm, what, through some more tests and stuff, he found that you could skew your angle off of these bats because in area 2, you've got bats that are hanging out, ghost bats, by the way, that are hanging out on the ceiling. And if you hit them in such a certain way while on a certain movement mode, because Luigi's Mansion has 2 modes of movement, it's got standard and sidestep. And in sidestep, when you're in the dark, when you're, rotating 360 degrees with a control stick, oh, I was going to pull up my GameCube controller, but it's stuck against something. Uh, yeah, when you're doing 360 degrees like this on standard mode, Luigi will turn while he's walking, but on sidestep he won't turn while he's walking. He'll just kind of step to the side, step to the side, step forward, step back while you're moving all 360 degrees. And it's when you're in sidestep mode that if you hit this bat on a certain part of Luigi's foot in just a certain way, Luigi will get hurt, but then he'll just kind of like skew. He'll just hang out, just like, hey, I'm here, I'm skewed. And you can use that to bypass certain walls, because even though you're in between floors, you still have to adhere to the certain walls rules and stuff. Like, you'll still hit walls that you can't pass, but you skew, and then you turn a certain way while you're skewed, and you'll pass that wall so you can continue going on in between floors in this floor 1.5 thing. So he found that doing that, and then he could pass a certain wall, right? So he goes down further down the hallway. There are some more bats down there, so he can skew again. But this time he found that because of the way the mansion is laid out, that the final place, the final boss's room, where you go to defeat the final boss and all, right? That is sort of in the center of the mansion, but like you start in the center of the mansion, but it's like further upright. So it's further in the back part of the mansion, all the way down underground. But what he found is that you could do a second skew, hang out in this part in this one corner using some flashlight maneuvers and stuff, and then you could clip down all the way down to the basement, kind of right outside where the final boss room is.
Hmm.
And already back then, he did it with a certain method that was just so, like, people playing the game wouldn't be able to do. It's just so tedious, and like, it wasn't feasible. But once he did that and he fell out of bounds, he was just past the wall that's outside of the final boss's room, the secret altar where King Boo resides. And when you're past the wall, you can walk out of bounds. And you just think, okay, I can just walk out of bounds a little bit upright or whatever. And then all of a sudden, okay, I'm in the final boss's room. No, it's not quite that easy, because you've also got to worry about there are 2 invisible things. So there's an invisible trigger where if you walk near it, before you collect 40 boos, King Boo will come outside the room and talk to Luigi. Luigi will get placed back in bounds, and not only that, but Luigi will also get sent back to the very first room of the game.
Hmm.
For Luigi's Mansion, that doesn't matter too much. It's not like, okay, I have to start the game all over again. You don't. You just get sent back to that first room with whatever bosses and stuff you've cleared. So like, you'll no longer be out of balance, and it's kind of like, okay, well, damn, I guess that's it. It's over. But you got that, and you go too far to the right, and Luigi will get soft locked. He will get stuck in like out of bounds, nothing. It's sort of like Mario 64 where you go out of bounds and then you're stuck. You can't move anything. Like that's pretty much exactly the same thing for Luigi's Mansion. You can't move at all. So you have to walk while you're out of bounds just outside that hall, just outside the wall in the hall, after you've clipped down to the basement. When you're there, you've got to walk a very fine line, and at some point, like it kind of like goes with the curve of the room, so it goes like up right, up left, and then eventually you can then walk into the final room, uh, and uh, and beat
Hmm.
the boss, and that's it. And that was something that was just like it was only kind of done in a task sort of setting. It's like you wouldn't really do that RTA. But then another person who some people may have known for other finding other strategies, Sock Folder, he
Hmm.
was the guy that
He
found.
always comes up.
Yeah, yeah. But for people that don't know Sock Folder, he found other things for Mario 64. He found the canonless setup for Womp's Fortress. Super Mario Brothers, he found some of like the flagpole glitch,
Hmm.
if I'm correct.
The one we still
Uh,
use, yeah.
yeah, that's the setups for that, which is crazy because that's like so precise down to like I think subpixels or something, right? Like
Yes.
it's crazy. And he did a mountain of stuff for Ocarina of Time, all these consistent setups for things that would have otherwise been like, there's no way I'm doing all of that in one run. Like I can't do that. But he found a way. He found methods for the entire out of bounds setup, including the basement walk, the skews, and the basement walk to get to the final room, uh, to beat the boss. And it was that at that point, that was when the game was like so broken. It was the biggest time save ever. Even to this day, it's the biggest time save ever to just where your goal is to just beat the game no matter what. Like, because at that time, I think the world record was like an hour, around an hour, 4 minutes by Bonesaw 577. And uh using the stuff that NG, Clyde Storm, and now Sockfolder using their combined efforts to go out of bounds and go down to the basement and beat the boss, that you could beat the game in from around an hour, 4 minutes, all the way down to 10, like 10 minutes. It's like, dude, what? It was unfathomable because it's like, dude, we didn't think you could do all of this. And the game is already like pretty short when you're playing it casually, but this just makes it even quicker, and it's so insane. But yeah, that's pretty much how any percent started, and that's what in more or less entails doing the out of bounds stuff. So
I assume the setup is still pretty difficult to pull off.
yeah, but it's so much different from the era of Sock Folder. There were so many
Oh,
things
okay.
that was found. It the the story for any percent is crazy because like not only was all that stuff found, and then eventually runners over time found smaller things to skip stuff. Um, there were things that even for any percent not out of balance, all the different categories, there were time saves that were found that made so much more of a difference, like King Boo one cycle. So at that time when Sock Folder and all them were doing it, they were doing King Boo in 3 cycles, where and in a cycle in Luigi's Mansion, like for King Boo, for instance, is where it's the amount of time where you're able to start draining damage off of the boss before they become invulnerable once again. And then you gotta go through the motions to make them vulnerable. So each time you're able to drain all as much HP as you can off of them, that's 1 cycle. So they were doing it in 3. Eventually you could do it in 2. That was like pretty early on too, like 2014, 2015. You could do 2 cycle. Yeah, okay, that's cool. But then people found that you could do 1 cycle back in like 2020. Red's MSR, he's a pretty good runner who's around to this day, and he accidentally found that by literally he was dared by someone else that ran Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon to play the game with his feet And so doing that, he found a thing that kind of led to the King Boo 1 cycle just by doing that crazy thing. But stuff like that, King Boo 1 cycle, Chauncey 1 cycle, which was a thing by my friend Pike and I, we both kind of like, he found a thing that was like, wait, how'd that happen? Because before it was 2 cycle Chauncey, that was it. People got close to 1 cycle, but you just could not because Chauncey had this like timer internally that would automatically break off of you no matter what you did. But Pike found a thing that eventually I worked out and found that you could skip him breaking off of you, and you could keep sucking up his HP and get him in 1 cycle. So there were all these finds and stuff going on, but it wasn't until literally like around the time of Chauncey 1 cycle being found that I was watching the one of the current record holders for some of the categories, Pablo Runs. He was doing, I think, 100% run, and he kind of hit a mouse in the hallway in such a weird way, and like I noticed, I'm like, wait, he's skewed just a tiny bit, but he's skewed, and I'm like, wait a second. So the gears started turning. I'm like, okay, what? Hear me out. What if we did inbound skews? Like, we don't go out of bounds. We don't go to beat the first couple of, but the first 3, technically, Portrait Ghosts, including Chauncey. We don't go out of bounds using the chest and stuff to go through in between floors. What if we instead use that mouse to get a crazy, insane skew and go out of bounds to floor 1.5 from literally like the first hallway where the portrait ghosts are before finding any of them, and that would save quite a bit of time on an already fast category. And it's like, wait, could you do that? So I tried, and I got a crazy insane skew like you would find when you're doing out of bounds. But I couldn't find a method to like get into floor 1.5. I could clip into some rooms in area 2, but it just wasn't that you were clipping straight inbounds into an area 2 room. You couldn't do out of bounds stuff from there. It just wasn't happening. And there were some ideas getting tossed by other people in the community and myself. One of them being using the PAL hidden mansion because there's different ghost placements and stuff. Some rooms have mice, so I'm like, wait, what if you skewed off of one of the mice and did that stuff? Eventually, um, eventually that was found by some people like Never Doors. He's a tasser who does stuff for Ocarina of Time and all that, and now Luigi's Mansion. Mini 352, a Luigi's Mansion runner who also runs stuff like Wind Waker and all that. People like that, we were finding like, oh yeah, wait, you could, in theory, go from Area 1 hallway, do the inbounds mouse skew, clip down to Area 2, it was in the dining room, and next door was the kitchen, which happened to have mice, get another skew there, clip into the hallway, and then the Area 2 hallway, and there's more mice, do another skew, clip into the courtyard all the way in the back of the mansion, so we're getting closer to King Boo's room. And then eventually it was found both by Never Doors and then myself. We did it in 2 separate instances. And I'm like, yo, wait, I'm typing in this chat while he's live one day. I'm like, yo, wait, I found that you could do this. And I found that he already did the same exact thing where you can, in the courtyard outside, in the back of the mansion, there are these flying little ghost balls, and you can fall down this well because in the game normally you would see this well and you would go down it, you would hear Mario calling out to you. You go down the well and you go to this like little hole, which is like the mouth of a lion. It's like made out of stone and stuff, and you can see Mario in the altar. That's where the final boss is, and you're like, but Luigi's reaching out to him. He can't reach out to him. But it's that well there that we hit the ghost ball while falling, while just straight up, instead of using the ladder to go down the well, we just fell down the well, and we got the skew, fall down, keep the skew, and then use that to bypass the Mario cutscene trigger, and then go right to the final boss. We're like, okay, Yeah, it's possible. No one was going to do that in real time. It was not happening. It was already hard enough to get the mouse skew. So for instance, the bat skew is today it's a lot easier to do. It's really not that bad once you've got the everything figured out. Like you can do it. It's not that bad. But the mouse skew just seems to be harder. Like it's more based on the amount of time you move after your initial hitting the mouse. Um, and you like it's like you'd have to hold on the control stick, whatever direction you're holding, for like 1 or 2 more frames after you get hit, and then let go. And it's like that's hard to time, but you can do that and then get do all this stuff in PAL. But no one's gonna do that because there's like 3 or 4 mouse skews, and that's just not happening. That's just not happening, dude. Especially with all the other stuff in the courtyard. No, no way. So then it's like, okay, we've come this far. We got an inbounds mouse skew. We can go out of bounds, but not quite in between floors. And that's when Mini that I mentioned earlier, Snap 32, some other people. I wrote down the list of names. There was like 4 different people uh that eventually found, I think Saria 100 was another one of them, that eventually found that yeah, you can get the floor 1.5. We just didn't know about the setup until Mini posted a world record with that new setup, and it's kind of like,
Hmm.
okay, you're playing that way. All right, okay, I see you. But they found a way to do it using like clipping through one of the corners of that hallway, and the whole ingredient instead of doing like the normal clipping, because you go up against the wall, you stop moving, you'd pause, go hold right, but then go to standard mode with the hitting D-pad left. I know it's a lot of inputs, I'm sorry, but the main ingredient was the C-stick, the incorporation of the C-stick, and that somehow, instead of doing a skew like up in the back corner facing forward, you can do it facing horizontally, and you can clip out of bounds, open the door for the Area 1 hallway, and that will keep you out of bounds in floor 1.5. Again, I know it's a lot of information. I apologize that I'm explaining it this way. I'm making a video talking about the any percent route and how the different strats were found and stuff like that. I'm making that.
Hmm.
I don't know when it'll be released because I've got IRL obligations, but
We're
I'm
getting the
gonna
preview
explain that
today,
in
I
more
see.
detail. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're getting the preview. But
Hmm.
that's basically it's a lot of this stuff that certain things we were like didn't think before that you could do, and that in turn helped push the already fast category that was at the time I believe Pablo just got like a sub 8 minute time, and that was like the time. Like, yeah, that's it. Category's dead, right? Or pretty much dead. But nope, nope. I pulled it back out of retirement. Nope, I pulled it back from the dead. We're continuing this, and now the 80% category is the world record is at 5 minutes and 1 second.
Hmm.
That's where we're at.
Sub
So
5.
yeah, sub 5. That's the thing too. It's like
Mhm.
there are some people that can get it, but then it's just like, okay, I'm not quite, like, are they going to do it? Because Pablo had been streaming and been doing some attempts for sub 5. He just wasn't able to get it. Joven, another runner, a top runner, on occasion has gone for any percent streams and done it, but he didn't quite get to, he did all the outbound stuff, but he wasn't able to get a run that was, sub 5, unfortunately. But it's just the category now, compared to the bat stuff from earlier, the mouse stuff is quite harder, and it's just like, oh, okay, it's sure there you get you spend less time per run doing it because you don't have to go through capturing 2 of the first portrait ghosts, waiting through Chauncey's cutscenes and stuff, and then capturing him, and then going out of bounds to try all that stuff. No, you don't have to do that. You just go clear the first 3 rooms of the game, then try the mouse cue stuff. And whether or not you get it, it's up to you. But it's just if you can, try to get the SKUs and all that. It's quicker, but it's also harder. So it's like it's a double-edged sword. It's like, oh, dude, yeah, we can save time, but also, yeah, it's just so much harder now than it used to be.
As things tend to
So
go.
yeah, I guess so. But luckily, although I probably shouldn't say that because now at some point maybe like, oh yeah, people will find it. I'm like, luckily we haven't had arbitrary code execution yet with Luigi's Mansion.
Hmm.
Luckily. And then watch someone be like, oh yeah, I found this, and the game's like 59 seconds. Like, what? No, no, not yet. No, hopefully not.
Well, I saw it happen to Sunshine, so
I know. I was watching. I'm like, dude, this is a thing, and I'm like, okay, what's happening here? But yeah, it's crazy. Like some of the way that some of these people are able to find uh arbitrary code execution stuff. It's just yeah.
actually, even if it is found, it's like, would it even save time? The run's already so fast.
That's the
It's
thing too.
interesting.
It's like depends on how fast we're talking. Cause like, okay, there's a thing I'm thinking, okay, how can we push any percent in Luigi's Mansion to be faster than it already is? Like, how do you get faster? Is that even a thing? So if you were to get a skew in literally the first room of the game, you could, and it was the skew was good enough. I found a way that you could in turn get to floor 1.5 and even skip the first bat skew and just only do one bat skew down the end of the hallway. So you can, in theory, do that. The problem is, where would you skew off of? That's not even like a thing. There's no mice. There is nothing really. There are limited things that can damage you because it seems to be that the way to get skews is by hitting an object that won't cause Luigi to make an animation or do an animation. When you hit mice, he'll just go, oh, and then he'll like flash for a little bit, like visible, invisible. He'll just flash really quickly for a little while. But if there are certain things like in the very first room of the game, the foyer, you open a door that's got vines. It prevents you from opening it until you get the next area, the key from Chauncey after you've been Chauncey. But you open that vine door and it's like, ow! But he pulls back and he does an animation. There's a chandelier in the foyer. You get hit by that, he gets knocked back, and that's already another animation. But the key factors to getting a skew is you gotta get hit on a certain part of Luigi's, I think it's right foot, like in the middle of it. You have to be moving at some point just for a tiny bit, and that will make Luigi go like that. It'll make him skewed. And in turn, if you somehow did that in the very first room of the game, you could go to floor 1.5 and then do the rest of the stuff to beat the game in like probably 3 minutes or something, maybe even two something. But that's just, it doesn't seem feasible because there's nothing. So it's like, yeah, maybe it's for the best, but I don't know. Like, it could be if someone found a way to do that, but it's just not. Right now, it's not even a thing. So.
Well, the game seems quite broken.
And that was the funny thing too, because for the longest time it seemed like the game really wasn't that broken. There weren't many things, glitches wise, that you could do until people just had way too much time sometimes,
Hmm.
myself included, that just found stuff that you can like, oh hey, you can save so much more time with this now. It's crazy.
Are there glitches
So
in the No Out of Bounds run?
yeah, there were some. Well, like I was saying, some of the skips that were found, like Chauncey One Cycle, that's a glitch that like
Oh,
you're
that is
not supposed to
considered
be
a
able to do.
glitch. Okay.
Yeah, that is a glitch because it's like you're skipping something that's supposed to be mandatory. Mandatory Chauncey breaks off of you because on Hidden Mansion with the much more powerful vacuum, you can get him down to like I've gotten him down to like around 10. People have said around 2, but I've literally never seen that happen, nor have I got that to happen myself just by like pulling on it, pulling on him because, I think it's like once you start capturing him and he starts at 100, right? 100 HP. Once you get him down to 65, he'll do like this shrugging animation and he'll make these noises. And it's like after 6 noises that he makes, that's when he breaks off, no matter what you do. But that's when we found, oh yeah, you can do a quick, simple, sort of similar to like when you're capturing a boo, except it's only the right trigger, where you like pump the trigger, like because you're holding on to it while you're capturing the ghost, right? But you like let go of it around the time that he's supposed to break off, like automatically, and that'll just skip him breaking off, and you can get him in one cycle. So like there
Hmm.
are some glitches in No Out of Bounds. There's just, of course, not as many as any percent, but it yeah, I'm trying to think of some other stuff. There's things that are less like glitches, a lot of it more so rather like stuff that's like I don't know. I don't know if you call them exploits. It's more so just like movement based, like you get better movement doing certain things, like capturing certain boos because they have a whole system on their own, and there's one that is his HP is just high enough to like you can't capture him doing in the normal what we call R pumping, when you're just sitting there with a vacuum out towards the boo and you kind of like pump your vacuum by holding both the triggers, letting go of and repressing the right trigger quickly every 10 HP. Like you can do that and you can get him down 150 HP easily, but after that, he just leaves no matter what you do. But there are some ways you can like drag the boo and move them to like preserve some of those R pumps. Um, and that in turn can get you like a certain 200 HP boo on most of the versions aside from the Palette Hidden Mansion, because that's obviously boos are all different, the HPs are all different and stuff. But every other version, you can get the 200 HP boo in one cycle instead of him leaving the room and going to a different room. Because the boos are all they're completely different from any other ghost that's in the game.
Hmm.
So
Well, this game is definitely a lot more complicated than I thought it would be.
that's why it's like I feel bad because I feel like I'm talking a little fast sometimes, but that's just like there is quite a lot to Luigi's Mansion has had a storied history over the years. At first it's a game that's just like, yeah, okay, like, it's you're Luigi capturing ghosts, like whoop-de-doo, but it was found that like, certain things could be done to make it faster, and there's just so many like small little coincidences and things that happened over the years that just pushed the game further and further more than anyone ever thought. And I was lucky to be, or honored even, to be one of the ones that helped be part of its history with finding these big strategies and stuff. So it's just, it's got a lot going for it. After I don't know, the speedrun scene technically started in 2005, but that's long before anyone was like speedruns were more mainstream and stuff, right? So that was when people were recording stuff on VHS, like the GoldenEye community when they were doing their like damn uh I don't know what the time is in damn like damn 112 or something.
I
Like
just know
basically a
Streets
lot of the
112.
yeah, Streets 112. I'm thinking of Streets 112. Yeah, Streets 112. Like when they were doing all their competitive stuff, that was back then when they were recording on VHS. And this one user, Marshmallow, who didn't really like Luigi's Mansion much at all, but he just wanted to speedrun as many games as he could. He did that, and that was like the first ever run of Luigi's Mansion in existence of any category. But over the years, things were found, communities like, came together, and we have the speedrun that we have now today.
Mhm.
And it's quite beautiful to see, even as nerdy as it is. But that's what we do here, right? So
Yeah.
hey,
I mean, it is a fairly popular run, so.
yeah, it was my friend and community member HD Lex. he was saying that it was back when speedruns live, like in 2013, was really a thing.
Mm-hmm.
2013, 2014, and all that, and so on. At one point, Luigi's Mansion was in the top 10 most raced games, I think.
Wow. Okay.
Just because people like to do that stuff, and that kind of was helped, with certain races. There was at one point in 2015, um, because at the time in 2015, the not the CEO, the president of Nintendo of Japan, Satoru Iwata, unfortunately passed away. So we kind of did an Iwata race, and it was a big
Mm,
race too at the time. All these people there that got together, and we did a big race, and
that's
that
fun.
was part of like all the different things that we did as a community. Eventually, we later on we also do like I think it's like every summer we do a no out of bounds tournament uh for people that want to sign up and just do stuff. Of course, it's like of course the people that are the best that sign up usually end up winning, but
Hmm.
it's just kind of like that's just how it is. You just go into this tournament and just kind of have fun, and improve with your own times. So it's a fun time overall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I didn't realize it was such a popular race game. So it's pretty
Yeah, it's
interesting.
crazy. Yeah, yeah,
It's
it's
not
probably
like
not
the
as
run
popular
I
as
would
Mario
think
64,
is
but
popular, yeah, but I mean, hey, I mean, it's
yeah,
cool.
it's I know Luigi. People look at Luigi's Mansion and they're like, "Yeah, what? Like, no." But I guess we've got a passionate enough community that like people are like, "Oh yeah, I'll run this game," and we're always open to like new people coming in and helping them out. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I mean, that's cool. Yeah, it's just not the game I'd like think of, but I mean, any game can be a speed run. Some of them better than
yeah,
others, obviously, but I mean,
yeah. I run a few other games like that. That's really not popular at all. But it's like we're passionate enough about the game to like wanting to keep pushing it.
but I mean,
So
having like a top 10 ran game in the like golden era of SRL is impressive.
yeah, that was dude.
That's
No,
interesting to learn about, honestly. I would have thought it was just all like, Mario platformers and Zelda shenanigans, whatever. But
and usually it
LM, there
is.
you go.
But there we go, Luigi, baby, the best brother.
There you go. See, he is number one in our hearts.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
now that I've gotten the lore dump, took a while
I
to get here.
apologize.
No, I mean, again, it's got to happen, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's the point. But we should go back to your perspective from all this as originally intended here. Um,
Okay.
so again, usually I go on like a timeline of events, kind of a deal. I know we talked about most things now, but
Yeah.
you, what you said you started in like 2014-ish times, and then
Yeah.
I guess just what did you do from there?
Yeah. So, like I said, 2014, like that summer or something, I started doing speed runs, and the first ever game, of course, Luigi's Mansion.
Mhm.
And I kind of just played it on my GameCube. I had a GameCube that I eventually gave to my cousins. I eventually got a different GameCube on Amazon that eventually the laser went bad. Now it
Mhm.
doesn't work anymore. But I started on that on the US version because I didn't have any Japanese anything.
Oh yeah, the
Because that's the
Japanese version's faster, right?
yeah, it's the
Mhm.
fastest version for like most stuff. Of course, we have PAL centered categories, so that's different. But
Yeah, but it sounds like the PAL version is very different.
oh yeah, oh
Like
yeah,
it's not just
right.
a frame rate drop. It's like
Yeah.
genuinely a different run.
No, it is, and that was supposed to be the entirety of Luigi's Mansion. All versions, I guess, all versions ideally were supposed to be like that, but they just ran out of time when developing
Yeah, okay.
the game and stuff, the launch title. But Japanese, yeah, like I didn't have any of that, so I ran on US on my copy at the time that I got, and I was like, all right, sure, it's fun. and I improved over time. Um, and then we kind of get into a thing where people at that time, um, and this is a thing that caused a lot of drama,
Oh no.
but oh no,
Oh no.
drama in the Legion Magic
That's
community,
the
yeah.
scary word.
Oh no. But I explained this in my documentary on YouTube as well. But um at some point people were like, oh yeah. So if you you play on the Wii, right? If you homebrew your Wii, you can play using the game with a USB loader and stuff. And that's what a lot of people at the time, did because it was like the thing to do. It didn't really matter. And I, being one of those people, I kind of went with the crowd, and I'm like, all right, sure. And we played on the Japanese version,
Mm-hmm.
on USB loader. So it's like not only we're saving time on text, quite a bit of it too, we're also saving just a little bit of time probably on load screens, but it's nothing too
Mm.
crazy, right? So that was kind of the sentiment at the time. Then eventually, people like Skazi in the community, community member that's been around for quite a while, had mentioned, they're like, wait a second, this doesn't seem as fast as what some people are saying. Um, and the at the time record holder VMan 3000 was pushing that. It's like, yeah, it's not that much more time save, but it's like, um, you know, we'll just run it. It's fine. But Skazi is like, wait, wait, wait. Compared to disc, this is like so much faster, and we never got an official time of how much faster it was, but it was known to be that it was quite a lot faster
Mm.
than V-Man was saying. And so then we were like, okay, there was a whole big drama, people arguing with each other left and right,
Mm.
getting into it on the Skype group at the time, um, on the Skype group, and I think that was just at the like just at or just before Discord and making the Luigi's Mansion Discord and stuff. But at the time, they're all having arguments. Okay, it's not that fast. No, it's so much faster. And some people that ran on USB, they're like, dude, I got this time. I don't want to get it deleted off the leaderboards. Like people are saying, oh yeah, we should just ban USB loading, and that means deleting all the times that had USB loading as a
Mm.
method. So it's like, all right, what are we gonna do? Eventually, eventually it was just found that like, yeah, you know what, we're just gonna ban it. Like the
Mm.
community, the mods and stuff came to a vote. They're like, all right, we're banning it. That's it. All the USB runs were gone. And V-Man's just like, yeah, you know what? There's all this bad blood and stuff. And he's like, all right, that's it. I'm out. Like,
Mm.
and he was like, no, he was like a really good player too. But I'm not throwing shade at V-Man right now. I just want to make that clear. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that like, because it's a lot of people that are passionate about the game, and they're like, all right, this shouldn't be a thing that's happening, and they feel like they're being lied to. So it's just like, it was a thing that happened at the time, but that eventually, like we said, we just banned USB loading.
Mm-hmm.
V-Man's kind of stopped coming around because of that, because of all the bad blood and all this and that. And he's just like, you know what, whatever. He eventually came back for a little bit with a Japanese disc and stuff, but he kind of like disappeared again because
Mm.
people had felt that same sentiment that they did back when the USB loading drama was happening. And it was also kind of apparent because well, with V-Man having started with USB loading, that was kind of because of a personal thing. The whole his financials and stuff, him and his family,
Mm.
mainly his family, his financials and stuff, and that was kind of like why he ran on USB loading rather than like getting a disc and stuff. And people, I know some people are saying like, oh yeah, I think Skazi was the one that said that. Like, oh yeah, I've offered to buy him a disc before, and he just like kind of turned it down. But like, yeah, and I'm trying not to throw shade here, honest, but
Yeah.
I'm just like,
And I mean, this
that's
was a
just kind
long
of
time
the thing
ago
what was
too.
happening.
So.
Oh yeah, yeah, but there were still some people that kind of just felt that way when V-Man came back around. Of course, things are quite different now today, but
Yeah.
needless to say, that was a thing that was big. And at the time, I think I had like it kind of makes no difference anyways for me because at the time I was going for a 59-minute time because the world record was a low 58 and I was going for just sub 1 hour because I was at 1 hour. I'm like, I'm so close,
Hmm.
I can get it. And I eventually got like my first 59 ever on USB loading was a 59:16. I'm like, yes, I did it. Oh, I did it so well too. Let's go. But I had a bit of a bad habit at the time of going on Windows on Task Manager. And when I was all done with OBS, instead of waiting for it to close, I hit X to close OBS and waiting for it to shut off. I'm just like, I want it done now. So I force close it with Task Manager. Guess who kind of forgot to stop recording and was
Mm.
recording in .mp4 video file at
Oh,
the
oh
time.
no.
So that corrupted the entire video. I'm like, I was spending like once because I had to leave right after I got the 59:16. I had to leave to go outside. I was doing IRL stuff with my family, and I was that whole day. I'm like, oh yeah, I got the 59:16. That's so cool and all that, right? And then like I came back, the video just didn't work. Nothing. I'm like,
Was
what?
it not
And then I realized
streamed?
no, it was just an
Oh
offline
no.
recording because
Oh
sometimes
no.
sometimes I did that. Sometimes I didn't stream. So I'm like, oh, dude.
Well,
So I realized what I did, and I'm like, all right, never again will I make that mistake. But it doesn't matter anyways because USB
mhm.
loading was banned. So it's like, well,
It
kind of all
it
works out in
never
the end, I guess.
happened.
It never
It
happened.
never
Nothing happened. Nothing to see here. And I eventually did get a 59 um
all was good.
and yeah, all that stuff. And then I've got like a 56. Yeah, I want to get a 55 and stuff, go on forwards and stuff, because that's like the world record is now a 54:12 by Joven.
Jesus.
But yeah, it's crazy. But it's I do want to get like at least a 55, but I just don't know when I have the time to do that because I've got IRL obligations now. I got a job.
Mm.
So it's like,
Those pesky
well, all
jobs.
right. Right? Too bad we kind of need them for, money and such, but yeah.
Damn. No. But yeah, no. So it's a lot
Yeah.
of timeline chalked up to short amount of time.
Yeah, yeah, and a lot of it was in the 2015-16 range when the whole
Yeah,
drama
again,
was
like
happening. It's like, okay,
I,
but
I do
yeah, it's
get
it's
wanting like you don't want to get in advantage off of like unofficial means. So I do get
yeah,
that.
yeah. It was just like at the time, it was like it's no biggie. Everyone's doing it, so it's like, you know, I guess it's kind of the thing where it's like, if your friends jumped off a bridge, would you like?
Hell yeah,
At the
no.
time, we all did. At the time, we all did. We're like, wee! But yeah, no,
Well,
yeah.
hopefully it all worked out in the end then.
It kind of did, yeah. I mean, V-Man unfortunately doesn't really come around often,
Hmm.
but he has other issues too that like seem to kind of come back towards the community.
Hmm.
And I'm not really gonna speak on what it is, but it's like health issues and stuff that when he does occasionally come back in the community from time to time, but it's like the things that are being said is just kind of like that's not that's not good at all. Like it's I don't
Hmm.
know. I'm not gonna really touch on it any more than that, but it's just
Yeah.
like yeah. But aside from that though, like everyone played on disc, plays on disc now, unless if they're doing like a category extension. 'Cause we have a category extension leaderboards that have emulator on them, and people
Hmm.
will just play like Dolphin
Yeah.
rather than doing the Mario 64 thing and putting it on the main boards, but like, oh yeah,
A separate
emulator
tab,
120
yeah.
star. Yeah, it's separate tab. It's a separate leaderboard because that's just kind of like what we came up with.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, I was a little part of the mod team, but there's so many other mods too that like kind of came to the conclusion they're like, yeah, we're gonna do this. So that's kind of basically what happened. But now, I mean, like the game as a whole, I'd say it's doing pretty good. We kind of bounced back
Mhm.
a lot. So
Do you get the same load times like playing off a Wii with a disc as a GameCube with a disc?
I feel like you get it faster loading times, especially
Okay.
depending on the type of Wii that you do. I know people were saying there was like because it's hard because the Wii's, there was only so many of them that have GameCube backwards
Yeah,
compatibility.
the earlier
Later models,
models. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like we want those, and there are some earlier model like black colored Wii's that for some reason load faster than
Hmm.
tr- the um, the white ones that came out originally before them. But I think they load a bit faster. I remember seeing a video on that years ago, but like some people do that, but I still have my Wii I got from 2008. It was used, a gift for my birthday, and so I just kind of used the same thing the entire time. And I mean, it's faster, of course, than a bit than using on a actual GameCube, but
So do top
I'm
runners
not.
use play on
Yeah.
a Wii?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
we all play on Wii. Yeah. So
Yeah, I just kept hearing disc, but I guess I didn't know what you were putting the disc into.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, we play on a Wii. That's like the
Okay,
fastest
got
thing.
it.
So.
Okay. And then just playing it off the USB loader on the Wii just made
Yeah,
load
that's
times
just
slower. Okay.
not a thing anymore. And then, of course now you've got the Switch 2 and you got the GameCube classics that
Ooh,
have
does
Luigi's Mansion on it. And it's like,
Uh-oh.
okay, how is that going to be? So
Yeah.
eventually, as you look on the leaderboards now, when you look on the main leaderboards, you've got a new subcategory like tab, and it's GC and NSO. So NSO being the Switch 2
Mhm.
GameCube Classics version. The Japanese version on that game, on for Luigi's Mansion, it's different. It's like a modified US copy. So a lot of the glitches that are exclusive to Japanese version, like for instance, I didn't mention this earlier, but uh when you're capturing a boo each time, EGAT will call you about that boo that you collected and then offer to save the game for you. So there's a mouse hole in the game in area 2 in Butler's room. You scan it, and then if you capture a boo, that like the Butler boo or whatever, and you capture it while you're going into the mouse hole on Japanese on like the original GameCube version only, like playing on GameCube or Wii, whatever, on that original Japanese copy, you'll go in through the mouse hole. It'll skip EGAD's text completely. Well, on every other version, it doesn't do that. You don't go into the mouse hole until EGAD's already starting to talk to you. So you
Hmm.
don't get that text skip there that you do. And same with NSO, the Switch 2 GameCube Japanese version, because basically, like I said, the Japanese version on GameCube is Luigi's Mansion USA, but with Japanese text. So whatever glitches there are, pearl duplication for 100%, that's all gone.
Hmm.
It's just like US, but with Japanese text.
Interesting.
So
Hmm.
yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. So the way you decided to handle that was just make it a separate tab, kind of like Mario
Yeah,
64. Okay.
that in particular was a separate tab, but the emulator, I again because I can't really speak for that because I was only on the mod team for a little bit, but there was other mods that eventually they kind of came to the conclusion that like, yeah, well, we're just gonna put this on the category extension. So that's just
Hmm.
each speedrun community handles things differently. You know, community by community. It's just up to them ultimately. But yeah, that's just kind of the way we went.
That's that's fair.
So.
Okay. So I don't know, have we exhausted Luigi's Mansion?
I mean, yeah, we've talked a lot about uh well the three main categories, and they've even touched up on max percent. There's
Mm,
other categories like low percent where you get the minimum amount of money possible,
mm.
which is the crown on top of King Boo's head, you cannot beat the game and get to the credits without touching that crown that he has,
But everything
which is
else you can avoid.
5,000 G. That crown just so happens to be the value of one singular coin, 5,000 G. So
Hmm.
it's like, yeah, that's the more you know. But
So
I
you
mean,
get the
there's
tent and call it a
yeah,
day.
yeah, pretty
Hmm.
much. You live in a tent and you're good. Like so. But
Fair
yeah,
enough.
that's
It's a pretty expensive tent, but whatever.
yeah, yeah, pretty much. But I don't know what the economy is like over in the Boo Woods where the Luigi's Mansion takes place. The
Hmm.
event takes place, but yeah. So that's I mean, like I said, I've talked a lot about Luigi's Mansion. If there's something else you'd want to talk about too, I can do that. Yeah.
I wouldn't know what to ask specifically in terms of that, but I mean, did you
Yeah.
kind of go over your history running the game? Did you do other categories too?
Yeah, I did. Well, No Out of Bounds obviously was the first one.
Hmm.
100% I eventually did because my friend
Yeah.
Jared's Giants, who also is a prominent Luigi's Mansion figure, uh, member of the community, he like was kind of like egging me on to do 100%. And I'm kind of like, yeah, but I like No Out of Bounds. I don't
Hmm.
feel like doing 100%. Eventually, I did it, and I've done that. I've done any percent. I even held the world record one
Ooh.
time. That was after Chauncey One Cycle was found, before Mowsky was found. So I managed to get one in there, and that was like my record for the game. The only record that I've ever held in the main leaderboards.
Well, there
So,
you go. At one point, you beat the game faster than anyone else.
yeah, exactly. Until I think it was Joven just like almost immediately just boom sniped me right back and then just got that at like 7:30 I think or something
These
7:32.
things happen.
So I was like, yeah, these things they just happen. But yeah, so that was I've done those. I've done max percent because at some point that was a seldom run category. And some people like Skazi, for instance, held the world record uh on that category. Then at some point people just decided like, let's run max percent. And then a bunch of us just kind of did. So I didn't think I'd ever run that game. Like that category, I should say. I didn't think I'd ever run that, but I ended up doing that. I run geez, what have I run? I've done PAL, but I don't have the time submitted on the leaderboards. I've run that a couple of times, the No Out of Bounds on PAL, and that's a whole different run in itself. But I've done some category extensions, which I've held some records in, but that's not as big as the big main leaderboard category,
Hmm.
like any percent. But yeah, so I've done a bunch of stuff here and there, but not I haven't done like every category. So
Hmm. Okay. So, um, you had the record in any percent at one point, and then where's like your placements in the other ones?
my placements. So
Doesn't have to be
at one
exact, just like
no, I got you. I'm pulling up the leaderboards right now just so I
no,
know.
fair
But
enough.
at one point I was top 10 in No Out of Bounds,
Mm.
and now I'm 16th place because people just got better, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm sitting here like doing other stuff, doing YouTube, doing other IRL stuff. I'm just kind of like, I don't have time a whole lot to
Hmm.
grind out runs of stuff, but I've got that. Any percent. Let's see. I'm 15th in any percent. So I've gone from first to 15th. So it's I've been falling
A
without
lot
really
has
catching up.
happened, you know.
Yeah, I'm tied for 15th in 100% with Zircon Eagle, who was he was also a member of the community that's been around for quite a while. He doesn't really run Luigi's Mansion much anymore. I think he mostly does stuff with Mario Kart Tour if he does stream on Twitch now, but he did a lot of Luigi's Mansion, and he was kind of like a trendsetter for some of the stuff, like for PAL. He held records in PAL years ago and stuff. So he's been around for quite a while, but I've done those things. Like, yeah, I'm not quite like in the grand scheme of things, yeah, I'm pretty much, in top 20 in like all the categories that I've run, but I'm not like where I once was, and I'm not actively like grinding to get better in them. At some point, maybe one day, I want to get better with them, but that's just how it is right now.
Hmm. Okay.
So.
So, um, how about other games you've tried?
Yes, other games I've run. I've been waiting for this too.
Mm,
I've been talking a lot about Luigi's Mansion, but like I said, I run a lot of other games that these games that I run, they're from my childhood, and like people think like, oh, you know, you do game, but you do a lot of the same stuff, like a lot of the same stuff from your childhood. I like these games, like I don't know, man.
it's what a lot of
That's just
people
kind of
do,
how it.
honestly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I've done stuff. I've done Spider-Man 2002. That's the
Mm,
movie game based off of Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man's first movie. They released, I think, like a month before the movie actually came out, and I've done that, and that's got its own story and stuff too. I've done Chibi Robo. That's a game on the GameCube that is also on Switch 2. I
mhm,
don't know how they put it on there because that was like one of the worst selling GameCube games ever
mhm.
outside of Japan. Like, and they just like, hey, early on in the Switch 2 online thing, we're gonna put Chibi Robo on there. I just lost my mind. I'm like, dude, how did they do that? That they okay, sure, yeah, they did that. But I love that game. Um, I've done that stuff. I've done Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, the
Mm,
first one. And that like, yeah, that's its own thing. I mainly ran the GameCube game version of that game, which falls under version 2. There's two versions. Version 1, which is PC and Xbox, which was made by one branch of Ubisoft. I think it was in Canada, like Montreal. And the other one, the other branch was on PS2 and GameCube by Ubisoft Shanghai. I ran that version too because that was the first version of the game that I ever played. Uh, and that's got its own story. It's got its own like big crazy glitch in one of the levels because it's like mission based, and that I stumbled across. I'm like, dude, you just can't do this on version 1, but everyone else runs on version 1. But I do like this, like the more obscure, like, oh yeah, I run version 2, but it's got its own crazy set of stuff that you can do with it. So I've done stuff like that. I've done a lot of like one-time runs. Like I ran Star Fox 64 once. Like I did the easy blue line thing, and that was it. Like I didn't pursue it too often. I've done some Mario Kart 8 races, speedrun races with my friends. So that's
mm.
yeah, I've done quite a bit of stuff, pretty much Nintendo centered mostly. So in
Well,
a nutshell, that's my history more or less.
but LM's always been the main thing.
Always been the main game, yeah. But despite some of the other stuff that I've done, Monkey Ball 2,
Mm,
Galaxy, I'm pulling up my page now. Spider-Man 2, which that's the one with the pizza missions that
mm,
everyone remembers like, oh, the pizza theme, yeah, the meme thing. That Super Paper Mario. I've done a lot of these things like not too often, but I've done some runs of them. But
mm.
Luigi's Mansion was always like a pretty big game that I came back to. So, yeah.
So not much to say about the other stuff. Just whatever.
Oh, I mean,
Oh,
there is. I could talk about them if
mm.
you want. It's just like I don't know how in depth you want to get because you don't want this to be like a 4-hour video, probably.
Yeah, I guess not. I mean, I guess it's up to you then. Like what
Yeah.
I mean,
What
you
other
are the guest. You
interesting
can kind
things?
of decide what you want to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, the other games they aren't really like ran much at all. The communities compared to Luigi's Mansion are a lot smaller.
Mm,
Um, Spider-Man 2002, the Tobey Maguire first game. Um, that was like I'd seen a couple guys run that, Spidey Balls and Adam speedruns, and I was like, "Wait, I remember this game." I think another friend of mine, who I'd known for quite a while, was pointing me towards the direction of that speedrun scene. I'm like, oh, okay. And I watched it, I'm like, yo, this is sick. But while I'm watching the streams, I'm like, wait, I see where they can improve. I see an
Mm.
improvement there. I see an improvement there. And I'm like, maybe I should run the game. So I kind of did that and kind of helped progress the game even further. No, much respect to them too, but it's just kind of like I saw things that maybe they didn't see at the time, and I'm like, I
Mm.
want to run this. This looks fun. Like it's in terms of like realism of like the Spider-Man mechanics. Yeah, it's like you get webs that shoot up from the sky, and that's how you swing. It's not so much like you attach webs to buildings and you're like doing the like realistic mechanics. That was Spider-Man 2 era stuff.
Mm.
But it's more like Spider-Man 2002 is more like a revamped version of Spider-Man 2000. That's a game from the N64, PlayStation 1, Dreamcast, and even a PC version of it. People like Bonesaw that I mentioned that ran Luigi's Mansion also ran Spider-Man 2000. There's a speedrunning scene, quite a dedicated speedrunning scene actually for 2000.
Mm.
But I just ran the game that similarly plays like that, but updated, and it's got Tobey Maguire in it. I mean, how could you not love that, dude? I love Tobey Maguire, dude. Like, yeah, it's a fun game, and speedrunning it. The speedrunning scene for that game now is just so crazy insane. Like it's so the people that run it, like Just Phase, he pushed that game even further than I did, and it's just so insane to see all the small intricacies, delicate intricacies that I didn't even notice that he picked up on. So in a way, it's kind of like passing the torch off, like Spidey Balls, Adam speedruns. They pass the torch off to me. I pass the torch off to another runner, Tegos Amigo from Germany, and he passed it off to um we kind of like traded records back and forth, but then we pass it off to Just Phase, and it's like these different eras of this game. Stuff like that. It's really cool, and I want to make a documentary on that someday. I think I will. I just
Mm.
don't know when. But I want to make documentaries on a lot of the games that I've run because I know how to do this stuff, right?
Mhm.
Chibi Robo, that was like I said, it's very small community, but the people that play it are dedicated to it when they do run it. Single Scoop, he was like I want to say he was the first ever record holder. And he's been around for quite a while. They eventually got Chibi Robo into GDQ, but not as the main speedrun game because that game has a lot of cutscenes. It's a very story driven game. No, they got it in based off of things where like it's a bingo form where you do things throughout the house because you're a robot. You're a tiny robot. You're cleaning a house for this family, and you can do things throughout the game. Of course, you got the story, which you progress the story. Things happen with the family,
Let's go
yada yada yada.
divorce.
Yeah, let's go divorce. Okay, so you have seen that, yeah.
Not only have I seen it, I was like in the back couch area.
Oh, sick! I didn't even know that, dude. Yeah, that's crazy.
It was a
But
bit
yeah,
crowded.
that's it was a big crowd. Unfortunately I couldn't be there, but at the time, but I was watching. I'm like, dude, this is insane. We got Chibi Robo into GDQ finally because I had submitted that game a few times. I submitted that. I submitted Spider-Man 2002. I submitted those games to GDQ a couple of times. One of them being for AGDQ 2020, which was the only time that GDQ has ever been in Orlando, Florida. I submitted that for them, but unfortunately they just didn't accept it. So I'm like, all right, whatever. It's all good. But they finally got Chibi Robo into GDQ later on, and then that was really sick too. But it's like I can kind of understand why they wouldn't accept Chibi Robo as like the main like a speed game, just
Mhm.
main game, not bingo form, because it's got a lot of RNG. One of the things being like make or break, unless if you use safety saves, which the safety saves will take longer. The whole process will take much longer and can very easily extend the estimated time if you're submitting that as a speed game to an event. But like, yeah, it's just. But I don't know. I've really enjoyed the game. Like, I got like a soft spot for it and stuff, and I even managed to talk with one of the developers of that game online, and I'm like,
Oh.
dude, this is so cool. The guy that did the music and sound effects, Hirofumi Taniguchi. No, he was really chill about the whole thing. Like, I kind of
Hmm.
asked him some questions. I eventually made a video based off of it, where I talked about how maybe they used in Chibi Robo, maybe they used clips from a Monty Python movie, like sound clips, in for a character that exists in the game, Sarge, the red egg, who is like a sergeant of a platoon of egg soldiers they call the Free Rangers. So and it's just like, dude, this sounds so familiar. Like it sounds like this movie. And I made that video. I mean, of course, that didn't do too well on YouTube, but it was just stuff like this that I was passionate about for a game that's these games that are like really low viewer, low interest, but I just really enjoy it. So I'm just like, I will make this stuff. Like,
Hmm.
I can talk about it for a while because I'm just like, I've grown up with these games. I'm passionate about them. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I do play other stuff too. I don't play just this, but it's like, but I've always had a big soft spot for this stuff. So,
Okay. So was that Spider-Man
yeah.
game the only other game you've had a record in, or?
No, I had record
Oh,
in
you
Chibi
have
Robo
had.
before.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
I've had a record in Chibi Robo. I've had a record in the Tom Clancy Splinter Cell. Only the version 2 that I mentioned specifically for a while, because like there was only one other person that ran it, and I'm just like,
Fair
'cause
enough.
that was like the only person at the time that ran it, and I'm like the only other person at the time. And I'm like, I want to see this improve. This looks like it can go faster. And so
Hmm.
I did. And I was record holder for quite a long time until some people all of a sudden just jumped out of nowhere. I'm like, people are running that category? It was like two people, me and this other guy, Tarragon Spice. But other people joined in. And they're like, yeah. And then now the record is further down. I want to improve my time on that category because I know based off of what they did, the things they've seen that I couldn't see at the time to improve on that category. Like I know that it can be beaten faster, and I want to beat it faster. It's just finding the time to,
Hmm.
do it. So, yeah,
Okay.
that's the. It's been a few games, a few of these like smaller community games that I've had record in. Nothing too major, you know, but that's
Other
just
than
how it is.
Luigi's Mansion, I guess.
Other than Luigi's Mansion, yes, of course, of course.
Okay, so since you brought up trying to submit to GDQ, what's your like marathon history?
So it's pretty short, unfortunately. But I mean, I've had like as far as like me running at the marathon, I never got into a GDQ. Unfortunately, I've been on commentary for like one GDQ run for Luigi's Mansion any percent. That was a few years ago, but of course it was online, it wasn't in person.
Mm.
I could have been on commentary for AGDQ 2019's Luigi's Mansion. I think it was No Out of Bounds run by HD Lax because I was there, but I had to fly back to the house based off of people that give me rides.
Mm.
Um I had to fly back that day that it was taking place. Like literally, I was probably either in the plane taxiing to go or in the air by the time that HD was doing his run. I'm like, dude, if
So
I could have
close.
just stayed one more day, I could have been there on the couch on commentary. But it's just, it just didn't happen that way. But oh well, that's fine. I think they got, I think they got Ben Stevens, like a Majora's Mask 3D runner or something, to just come on commentary like, "Hey guys, I'm Ben Stevens, Luigi's Mansion." Like, that's cool. So,
Do you like the murder hallway?
but the murder hallway. That's
I
right. I
I
forgot
make a
about
note
that.
of it anytime someone brings up HDQ 2019. So
The murder. Yeah, no, it was like this like rickety looking hallway. It's like, dude, what is happening?
everyone remembers. I
Are they
wonder. I
are
wonder
they
how. I
fixing
need
it?
like a murder hallway counter how many times I brought it up here.
Dude. Oh, we need to go back through all the 149 episodes of this stuff and
Make
see
it count.
how often was the murder hall I brought up. Yeah. No, it's yeah, that was
Very important
that was
talking point.
something. I was just I like didn't think much of it when I was going through it, but now that people are talking about it, it's like, yeah, that's right. That was weird. But like I remembered that event because that was my first GDQ in-person event. I went with my friend JCR. Shout outs to homie JCR. Much love. JCR and HD Lax, and we were sharing rooms and we were sharing a room. And that was pretty chill, dude. Honestly, meeting my friends from online in person for the first time, like that was pretty huge. Even I even met Jaxler, who was a big figurehead and record holder. I don't know if he's the current record holder. I don't think he is, but he was at one point the record holder for Chibi Robo. And I met him that day too. I'm like, okay, this is crazy. And I met Single Scoop, and I'm like, dude, they're just here. This is great. This is awesome. I don't remember if I met Kobe, but I at least remember Jaxler um and Single Scoop. But yeah, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Like it was only 4 days there, unfortunately, but it was a lot of fun. I remember that trip fondly. And then my next GDQ, AGDQ 2020 in Florida, and that was like a whole mood in itself. Like we're escaping because I'm from the northern states, from New England, and there's a lot of snow here,
Yeah.
especially during that time like January, and we get to escape all the snow and like go down to somewhere where it's pretty warm, and then like I get to hang out with my friends, get hang out with the homies and stuff, and we pop out one day, go to Universal, just like chilling, big chilling. I even met one of my friends, another friend of mine who I've run Luigi's Mansion with for years, Bibbs, he goes by now online. But he that was cool meeting him in person because like none of us in our friend group had met him at that point until then. And it's like, dude, what's up, man? This is so cool. And then we just got to hang out. Like we watched some runs here and there, but like, you know, meeting all these people, meeting other people that I met online, too. There were some people like that were like more speedrun celebrities like Darby and that were there, and I'm like, I saw them, I'm like, I could say hi, but would I be awkward? I don't know. I don't know. I even made
I said hi
dude,
to him there
okay.
too, and then we got dinner.
Oh, that's sick. That's sick. Where'd you guys go?
Oh, it was there was like an ale house. They had like good chicken stuff.
Miller's,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
you remember.
Miller's was pretty good, bro. I remember a lot of stuff with food. I remember weird stuff,
I
but
see.
like, yeah, that was good. I had a burger, I think, or something. See, the food memory,
Yeah,
but
it was a
like,
whole group. I remember that specifically. The
dude.
couple other food outings I remember, but those usually aren't the highlight.
Oh no, I know, but like the whole event for me was just a mood. Like
That
I
was a good one.
there,
I remember it fondly.
dude, there was like one night when another person that I met before online, call me Liam, who had done like GoldenEye and James Bond type stuff, like Knife Fire, I think was another game. And Liam was sharing a room with some people, and we were kind of hanging out playing Mario Party. I was half asleep, okay, mind you, because I was like a long day. I was half asleep playing Mario Party 3 in the chair. I'm like playing it, and I'm like, there was one game, a mini game, where I'm playing it, and my eyes were closed, and by the time I opened them, the game was over. And I'm like, oh, I think I lost, but I didn't care. I was tired, and I left. I left later on that night because I'm like, oh, it's chill hang out with these people and stuff too. It's really cool. But I left. Later on, I was told that apparently Ryan Lockwood was in that room. I just didn't know it. He was like, he came to the room and like was hanging out and
Oh,
stuff. I think I did see a crowd come in. I'm like, oh, okay, there's people here. But I was half asleep. I'm like, oh, dude, this is cool hanging out with Liam and stuff, but I want to go back to bed. Like, I want to go to my room and go to bed. And I missed seeing Ryan Lockwood like in person. I'm
I
like,
guess it's hard
dude,
to recognize him without him screaming. So
Yeah, I guess. I'm like, "Oh, but that's so cool." Like, the Streets 112 guy,
It's
he's
him.
right there, but yeah, it's just it's these things, like, there were so many things that happened that event, so many different people that I got to meet, and it's just dude, like,
Mhm.
it's hard to explain it all, like, oh, yeah, Japanese runner who runs LM, Mikuram, I got to meet him for the first time, and 'cause I like, I never really met anyone from Japan before, and I'm like, oh, I saw him, and I kind of remember what he looked like. I'm like, yo, Mikaram, what's up, dude? How you doing? I'm starting to say all this stuff to him, and he's got this like blank expression on his face, and like he's like, and I'm like, oh, I'm slowly realizing, oh, sorry, the language barrier. He knows
Mhm.
Japanese. I know English. My Japanese is like this bit. Even now, it's like maybe like this bit, but even still, it's very, very limited. So I pulled up on my phone, I pulled up Google Translate, and I'm like writing stuff to him, having him look at it. He's like, oh yeah, yeah. I'm like, oh okay, cool. So I think I said "Konnichiwa" to him, and he's like, he smiled, he shook his head and or nodded, and I'm like, oh, "Okay, that's cool." We all did like a big Luigi's Mansion race in the practice room. That event too. I got to meet. Oh god, there's so many people I got to meet. Smith Jr., Black Luigi. I knew him from online. We played Mario Superstar Baseball together. I mean, there was just so many people that I met that event, and
Yeah.
it was just I'll remember that event fondly. Like I know some people had gripes with it, like especially sometimes certain rooms
Mm.
were very
Yeah.
humid. The water on the windows was crazy because it was they were saying because it was so humid, but the AC wasn't working. I don't know. I looked past all that, and I just remember the good stuff about it.
Yeah.
It was a great time, dude.
Yeah. That was my third GDQ. So,
Oh yeah,
and now
nice,
I've been to
nice.
like 20 speedrun events. Whoops.
That's
My bad.
sick. That's sick. Yeah, yeah. But that's like the last time that I went to a GDQ. COVID happened and all that, of course,
Mhm.
yada yada.
Yeah.
But eventually, my friend who lives very close, JCR, he's within driving distance of Pace.
Mhm.
Pace, the event that was in Laurel, Maryland. Unfortunately, no longer. But
Rest in piss,
um,
Laurel. Sorry.
yeah, oh 07, we won't miss you, bro. No,
Jesus Christ.
Laurel was sketchy. It was
That's an
like,
understatement.
dude. Oh, I've seen things that happened there. I'm like, dude, that was the first time I saw a Walmart where almost everything was locked up. I'm like, dude, I've
Mhm.
never seen some of these things behind like lock and key. Like that was kind of a culture shock to me, I guess. But
I went to
no,
5 paces there. Uh, the stories I could tell.
I don't doubt it, dude. I do not doubt it because that is
there were plenty of good times, but that area is one of the areas of all time.
yeah.
Uh,
Ab absolutely. No, it's Pace was like no, it was still a good time though. Like
mm,
I hung out with a lot of people that I hung out with from GDQ.
yeah.
And some of the same people. I got to meet some new people even the last time I went to Pace. Um, but uh like that was Pace was where I first actually got to perform a run on a stage like at a big speedrun event. And I'm like, oh, okay, because I wanted to submit some stuff, so I submitted Spider-Man 2002. For future sake, I probably should have done this earlier, but we call it Toby One, so I'm just gonna
Okay.
call it Toby One because
Okay.
it's like easier to remember than Spider-Man. What was the year? 2001? No, Toby One.
Okay.
That's what we call it in the community. So Toby One, I ran that. I submitted it and they accepted it. I'm like, oh, this is sick. So then I was texting my friend JCR who was gonna help. I was gonna fly down to where he is, and then he was gonna drive us to Pace. And we were like brainstorming some shit, and we're like, dude, wait a second. You remember that scene from the first movie where Toby he's got like his like normal clothes on. He's got like a button up blue shirt, collared shirt and stuff, and he's got that. And then all of a sudden, Green Goblin comes out of nowhere and starts attacking the innocent people during this parade. And then he comes out, he's running, he's ripping off his shirt with the buttons and stuff. And you see Spider-Man suit underneath, and then he just hops into action. And it's like, that's cool. what if I did that on pace? I mean, it's so dumb. That's my first ever run of anything at a speedrun event. But I'm like, dude, what if I did that? What if I like got a button-up shirt? I did. I got a button-up shirt at Walmart before I left. I had some blue light blocking glasses, which looked like normal glasses for vision and stuff. So I put that on. I got a suit, Spider-Man suit that I already had. From online. I got that. I put normal clothes on underneath in the bathroom at pace, and I made a video about this as well, which kind of like showed in quick succession pretty much what entailed from all that, what I did, and I got the Spidey suit on underneath normal clothes that looked kind of like from Toby 1, so it's as accurate as possible. I did the run, and I did the run with like latex gloves on or something, protective stuff, because the suit that I had hands and stuff, and I
Mm.
didn't want to ruin the hands from the controller pressing and stuff. Not too much like the control stick and stuff. I didn't want to like wear out the material, so I put latex gloves on over that. And I had done that prior before I went to pace. I tried putting those gloves on with the suit on to see if I could do it, if it would feel too weird and too clunky. I managed to do it. Um, and then I managed to get all that stuff done. I'm like, okay, so I got the suit on, got the gloves on, whatever. I started doing the run. The run went pretty south, like almost instantly. I didn't do what I thought I was going to do, and then I that being my first ever event, I'm like, and I started just swinging around the city. I'm like, what do I do? I like couldn't think.
Mm.
I'm like, do I go here? Do I go there for a backup? Like, I couldn't. Eventually, I got it together. And I'm like, okay, I'll do this. I'll do that. Later on, I mean, the run wasn't too good. I went overestimated by like 2 minutes, because of some stupid stuff that happened even later on the run. But I did get to show off a skip, that I didn't think I was going to get. And I'm like, hey, that's a marathon for you. You screw up a lot of stuff, but you get the one thing that you really want to show off. You get what
Mm.
matters. And it's like, all right, cool. So I did that. I finished the run, put down the controller. I'm like, so I said something like, so I said I was, um, kind of like, what did I say? I said I was like Peter Parker before or whatever, right? But then I'm like, but actually, and I took my glasses off. I ripped the button shirt off that I just bought from Walmart, and I'm like, I'm actually Spider-Man. And the funny thing too was, I had put on some like casual like lounge pants for the pants instead of like jeans. And then I thought, okay, I'm gonna really get in the Spidey suit. But then I thought, would it look weird if I took my pants off on stage at pace? I mean, I got a suit on underneath it, but I
Yeah.
decided against it. So I didn't take the pants off, but I had the top suit on. I tried to put my mask on. The mask was on backwards, and it was gonna be too much work to try to like get it backwards because there was like a part that formed to like the nose and stuff to make it look like the classic Spider-Man suit look. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm just not gonna do that. I'm just gonna and the whole reveal was good, but also bad.
Mm.
And so I'm just like, okay. But I'm like, you know what? For it being my first ever like speedrun event where I did some stuff, and I just wanted to add extra stuff by wearing a suit, probably being a little bit of a moron doing all that too. Like, yeah, it's not bad. It could have been a lot worse.
It
So
could have been on GDQ instead.
could have been on GDQ, but instead it was at Pace in Laurel, Maryland at like 2 in the morning. Like,
Mm. Prime time.
it's prime time, like two people in the audience, and I was doing
Yep.
call outs. I'm like, you guys like Tobey Maguire? Woo! How about Andrew Garfield? Same guy? Woo! Okay, you know what? We take those though. I was more than glad to be actually doing a speedrun on stage, like at a live event. Like honestly, that's like really sick.
Mm.
I you know, but then the following year, Pace, and I only went to Pace Fall. I never went to Pace Summer because of my IRL stuff. I was busy during the summer a lot, so I went to Pace fall 2024 because they wanted to do a Luigi's Mansion LTA. It was 100% LTA,
Mm.
and a live time attack for short.
Yeah.
And they I was like, I'd never done something like that before too, so I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. So I did 100%, and I'm not super good at it. And there was like 7 of us that did that, and that was like the first ever for Luigi's Mansion at an event doing an LTA like that, because they had a bunch of Mario 64 stuff, right? But
Mhm.
like, we did this, and that was pretty fun. It was like not too not too late in, like, to the event. I was doing a run. I'm like, this is really good pace. But I started to get hungry, and I got some bit of health issues to where I'm like, I'm starting to feel woozy because I'm kind of hungry. I'm like, whoa,
Here,
oh,
one
dude.
second.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, no, it's not your fault. I'll explain in a second. Okay, we should be back. Sorry about that. As they say on GDQ, that's never happened before. I had to tend to matters, but we're back. You know, we had a
What
good
up?
streak of no interruptions like that for a while, so
Yeah.
bound to happen. But we're back. So luckily for the YouTube watchers, that should look seamless if I handle this properly. So you don't even know what happened. Anyway, where were we?
Anyways, yeah. I think I was saying something about Pace Fall 2024.
Yeah, you're talking about the
So
LTA. That's right.
the LTA, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we did that stuff, and that was my first time ever doing an LTA. Like, not only doing an LTA, but also doing it. We just so happened to do it, at a live event.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, it was 100%, and I wasn't too good at it. I'm not super good compared to the other people that were doing 100%. I never really ran it that often, so we were doing some runs, and like, of course, there's prize pools or whatever for whoever beats in a certain amount of time. Uh, and I think even Shift, who I've edited for, he runs SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. I think he even boosted up the prize pools a little bit. So I was like, I heard that and I saw the thing. I'm like, oh, that's sick. Yo, what's up? Like, and I got to hang out with him and stuff too. That was cool. Um, but yeah, so we were doing it was in the middle of the LTA, and it was like I had already done a couple of runs or something. I was working on another one, and I'm like looking at the time, I'm thinking, this is about when I would eat lunch. Or and then it started passing that time, and I'm like, and I have some health issues where like if I don't eat for a little while and I can feel myself getting hungry. Sometimes I'll even feel a little dizzy. I'm like, ooh,
Mm-hmm.
okay, jeez. All right, and I'm doing this run right, 100%, and it's better than anything I've done all day. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, dude, okay. I mean, all day thus far. It was only like a few hours at that point, but
Yeah.
as like the best run I've had, I'm like, okay, I got a choice to make now because I'm like 20 minutes into like an hour 10 run or something like that, or hour 9 if I get a PB or something. Like I got a choice to make. Either I sit it out and hopefully don't, I don't know, pass out. I've never passed out, but I worry, God forbid I pass out and it happens to be on the pace stage. Like, what are they gonna do? Stop the event. Like, and so I'm like, either do that or just try something crazy. And if you throw it, you throw it. Like, and I went with the latter option. I went with because I'm like, dude, I could have easily just like kept going and like then just finished the run pretty strong. Like if I everything else went well, but I would have had to sink more time in. My friend JCR, who was also he was my ride, and he was getting hungry too. And I'm thinking, boy, not only am I, you know, keeping it longer for myself, I'm keeping it longer for JCR, and then we're both getting hungry. We kind of eat like everyone else was kind of like that was doing the LTA. Were like, yeah, I didn't really feel like eating, it's fine. But I'm just thinking, I know I gotta eat some point soon, so I went for going off of the mouse cue thing that I mentioned earlier. The in 100%, it was discussed and later implemented that you could use the mouse skew to clip through a wall to get to the sitting room, and then you could you actually save quite a bit of time because you'd skip having to go to the rooftop one of the times and then going down this like right side chimney, which you'd have to clear a room to get a key that unlocks that door um to that room that we just ended up clipping through instead. So instead of spending all that time, you can save it by getting a mouse skew, insane skew, clipping into that room, and then just doing the rest of the run. The route changes up quite a bit, and I didn't really know it that well, but I'm like, you know what? If I happen to get it, I guess I'll continue. But if not, then I won't. And of course, I didn't get the skew, and I'm like, yeah. And at that point, I'm like, dude, it took a while, and I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I'm just gonna stop and just literally leave, go get food. We ended up getting pizza, and then we came back, and then I finished out the rest of my time. Like I could have grinded the rest of the LTA, but I'm just gonna like, dude, not eating like that. I can't do that. I just can't. So I I just like I'm like, you know what? Whatever. I really don't care. I've got to eat. And then at the end, I came up in like 5th out of 7th place. Like 5 out of 7. It's not that great, but could have been worse.
I mean, you're up
Yes.
there with like great players, right? So
Yeah, that
whatever.
was 5th out of 7. Yeah, yeah. Great players of the that are doing the LTA too. Yeah,
Mhm.
HD, Joven, let's see who all was there because that was myself. It was HD, Joven. It was Mac S, who is around the community, quite a bit, but hasn't really done a whole lot. I don't think, like especially going to events and stuff. And he just kind of like he showed up, and that was cool.
Mhm.
Um, um, Kai runs. He's always trying to squeeze. He's wringing the game out of all its potential time save, and he's always talking about paces and stuff, just because he's like, that's what he's focused on. That's what he's passionate about. He's passionate about the game and like what you can do to save more time and stuff.
Mhm.
Like him, Chris, Krysu. Is that 6, 7? Another person. God, am I forgetting a person, dude? I don't know, but there was 7 of us, and it was just that was quite the experience, and I'm happy with it, honestly, like, and that was like my 4th event that I've gone to, and that's the last one I've been in, in person event, like,
Mhm.
and I don't know for the foreseeable future if I will go to any more, but just have to wait and see, I guess. I don't know.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I've been to so many, obviously, because those are the highlights for me. So
Yeah, absolutely. No, they're fun. They're fun time, especially when you know there are certain friends that you know that you'll be seeing there, and it's
mhm.
like, dude, yeah, we'll get to hang out. They'll be sick. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's always a good time.
Well, I think we've covered everything in terms of speed running. But
Yeah, yeah,
obviously you've mentioned it quite a bit, but we could touch on it a little bit more as the content side of things.
yeah, yeah. The YouTube stuff. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, because like that was my first passion for doing anything online outside of school. Was like I did I was at first I was watching stuff about glitches on YouTube that was like I'm like, oh, this is cool. And I was uh there was a lot of Nintendo stuff really. And then that also kind of like went into the world of like Machinima, Mario 64 type stuff, Scatman John,
Hmm.
like Flesh Jurta, M. Jacob Barker, people like that. Like, dude, I could talk about that stuff too, but also glitches was one of the things that I was watching, and I was fascinated by them, and uh, like doing doing glitches was like, oh, dude, I like to find glitches. I like to do that stuff and perform them just because I think they're cool. If it's a game that I've played for a long time, this is just like something new in it, and it's like I just think it's really cool. I don't know why, but So then there was one day where I was playing Toby 1 at my cousin's house, and we were really just screwing around. We weren't really playing the game. I was screwing around, and I happened to find a thing where you could just like there were certain things because you can play in that game. You can also play as Green Goblin. He's like an unlockable character, but the game has it to where it's like it's Harry Osborn that's the Goblin, and you're like trying to find out Dad's secrets, and Norman Osborn being the main Green Goblin villain. So you're playing as Green Goblin the model, but you're like Harry Osborn or whatever. But anyways, I was using that stuff and finding things you could just clip through, and I'm like, dude, what? I was finding so many different glitches that day, like clipping through things, even unnecessary things. I'm like, dude, this is sick. Wait, I should make a video about this. My cousin was like, you should make a video about this. We were like, what should we call it? And like, we had watched another guy on YouTube called the Smash Doctor who literally just smashes electronics and stuff. That's all he did was like big TV, a big old hammer and just or mallet and just and that's it. Like, and for some reason they kind of landed on like, oh, what about Glitch Doctor?
Hmm.
Yeah, Glitch. Sure, okay, why not? Glitch Doctor, yeah.
And now you're
And so I
stuck with it
started that.
forever.
And now I'm stuck with it forever. Yeah, right. So, so I started doing that. I was doing that at like 13 years old. I started that. I'm like, okay. So my first one was about Luigi. No, my first one was about Toby 1, actually. Yeah, right. Because I'm like, I wanted to show off all the stuff that I found. And it really wasn't a good video. I made it with Windows Movie Maker, a really shit laptop mic.
Hmm.
That you could like, it's over modulating so bad, but I did that stuff. I did Luigi's Mansion. I did a bunch of other stuff like Mario 64. I did a bunch of other stuff that I had played, games I had played uh over time. Then I kind of just like after a while, I kind of like fell off of doing YouTube stuff. I wasn't quite as invested in that as I was because I was just kind of like I don't know what to do. I'm just like do I keep doing it or do I just like stop because I'm like started losing interest. And that's
Hmm.
when speedrunning picked up that interest for me. Picked up interest in speedrunning and preferred that over YouTube. But it wasn't until when I actually kind of slowed down speedrunning back in 2020 when I started developing health issues
Hmm.
during the summer of 2020. And I uh, I kind of just took back speedrunning took a back seat more so aside from the time that I got my 56 in Luigi's Mansion No Out of Bounds. I was like, yeah, I did that in a race in the tournament. I'm like, dude, this
Oh,
was
wow.
so sick. I beat out a guy that Mini who at the time was also pretty like I think he had a high 56 or a low 57 or something and I had like a mid 57. Boom, 56, 54. And I'm like, yes, all right. Okay. And then I kind of just like stopped doing speedrun stuff largely. And I kind of find myself drawn back to YouTube. And I'm like, all right. So what do I do? And like, do I make like a much more updated Luigi's Mansion glitches video with even more stuff? So that's what I did. I made an hour plus long Luigi's Mansion glitches video where I just showed a bunch of different things that I had found, not I had found necessarily, but like that was found over time by the community.
Hmm.
Some stuff I went in on a lot harder, like there was a thing where you could shoot a fireball at a wall and reset the console, and that
Hmm.
would cause this rapid element explosion looking thing. That in turn was like an accidental thing that happened um that by Pablo back when he was running the game pretty early on. And then he was like he started doing another one. He reset. I think he was at Bulasis, and what probably happened was he shot the element right at the very edge of like the the map, which caused an explosion. And he reset the game at the right time to where that explosion happened, that like element thing happened. And he started playing the Area 1, the cutscene that happens in the parlor that's in the room just before in the foyer. He played that in the foyer, and it was like, what is happening? and I went in depth on like what I thought could have been that,
Mm.
and much more, many more other glitches. So I did that stuff, and then I started developing, making more videos and stuff. I did stuff for Spider-Man 2, that Toby 2, Toby 1.
Mm.
I started doing stuff for Super Paper Mario. My friend JCR, he runs that. I started doing a bunch of like different stuff for glitches, but I also wanted to do other stuff too. And I've done in since that time that I restarted my channel and I went from because I went from official glitch doctor in 2013 to GlitchPhD sometime like 2016, 17, something like that. Maybe even 2018 when I was speedrunning. And then I went back to just Glitch Doctor in 2021 with the Luigi's Mansion Hour Plus Glitches video. And I did that. I did that stuff. I've done some interviews. One of them apparently did really well, which I
Mm.
was like, how did this do so well? It was about a guy called DKSC for Life who plays Mario Kart Wii, but he only plays on the course DK Summit, which DKSC for Life. DKSC is DK Snowboard Cross,
Mm.
the PAL name for DK Summit, the European name for DK Summit. Um, and that's like, I was just talking to him about stuff, and he had a lot of interesting things to say, and I'm
Mm.
like, dude, this is cool. Like what? It was a crazy video, but
Yeah,
like,
interviews are cool, right?
yeah, yeah, no, absolutely, dude. I mean, hey, GTA's interviewer. I mean, maybe I could interview you on my channel and be like, yeah, this guy that's done, 149 episodes of stuff, 150 episodes or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
who knows? But I've done stuff like that. I've done like deep explanations for like one glitch rather than like multiple glitches, kind of like your standard glitches video from back in the day that I did, or people like A plus Start did.
Mm.
This Son of a Glitch series. People like that. I've done stuff like that. I've done like I said, individual glitch things. I've even done things that are related to gaming, but not glitches at all. Like I spent probably a really long time, like 8 months or something like that, I think, just on this one topic because I was personally invested in with it because so this will kind of make sense because Chibi Robo, right? The GameCube game that I mentioned earlier that I ran. The people that made that game also made another game called Giftpia, which never made it outside of Japan. It's in English it would be pronounced Giftopia, but it was just they were going to release it the rest of the world, but it was just Giftpia in Japan because that's just how it was, I guess. But there was a band because the game has an in-game radio station and it has music. There was a band that kind of made music that kind of clicked with me. Like it's weird. It was like alternative rock metal type stuff. It was a little aggressive, but not like like not super insane over the top. But it was a little like it may not be some people's cup of tea. I understand that, but I was personally invested with it, and I couldn't find anything about that band online. So I spent, like I said, spent 8 months trying all the different avenues I could find online, getting in contact with some people. Eventually I found like a compilation CD, two compilation CDs even. One of them somehow I don't even know how I got it. It was like only one of 500 copies made that the guy that made the CD told me. He's like, "Yeah, that you got that CD? It's as rare as hen's teeth." I think he said. And it's like it was only one of 500 copies made probably. And I'm like, "Really?" Cuz I found it on the Japanese Mercari website. Long story short, I know I've already made it a bit long, but I wound up finding so much more music that band did because YouTube, Google, nothing came up with this band. The band was called Yet. So you look up Yet online, that's not happening. You're just not finding them. It's a band from like that started in 1999 and ended in 2003.
Hmm.
No, 2 ended in 2002 from Japan. And like even then, they were a bit niche over there. Like some people knew it, but and I'm like, I like the music. I just can't find anything more about it. So I spent 8 months trying to find people, trying to get in contact with people. I got in contact with a completely unrelated CEO of a Japanese business. Like this guy, um, who had uh like this band's only released album on his phone. The music was on his phone. I'm like, I need that. I want that, but I couldn't find it. And I got into contact with him, like, hey, maybe you could send this to me. And he didn't send it. He never sent it. He was like, oh yeah, I'll do it. I can do that. And then he just never got back to me. I'm like, okay, back to square one. Eventually, I found it from a guy from Japan, and I was using Google Translate a lot for this, um like a method like translating English to Japanese, then switching that around the Japanese back to English to see if it made sense. And I'm like, okay, then I sent that Japanese message over to these people. So I found the album and more from between this Japanese guy from Japan, and this Australian guy who lived in Japan who had his own band. And like I was getting all the lore from like the scene back in the early 2000s in Japan from like that music scene. I'm like, dude, what is happening? Like this is crazy. I'm finding so much about this scene that I never would have otherwise known, that people other never would have otherwise known. And I'm like, all right, sure. Oh, so I made a whole video about it, and it got not even 1,000 views. So I'm
Hmm.
like, you know what? It's more of a passion project, I guess. But like, not everything is gonna click with people, especially like, oh yeah, this guy does Nintendo glitches, and then oh yeah, this guy made a video about like a obscure like alternative metal, alternative rock band, like new metal band. Like what? Where's the correlation? But it's like, I don't know. It was just something that I was invested in, and I'm like, dude, I think this would be really cool because I liked lost media stuff, like watching like people on YouTube like Wang and I'm like they talk about lost media. I'm like, yeah, that's really cool. So I kind of did something sort of like that because you couldn't find anything about that online.
Hmm.
But I've done a lot of interesting different topics. Some of them did pretty well, I guess. One of them was about arbitrary code execution, and that like I touched up the Super Mario World and Ocarina of Time stuff in that, and it got like over 300,000 views. I'm like, geez,
Hmm.
okay, yeah, all right, sure. Like people like it. It's they may not really understand it, even though I tried to. My goal was to try to break that down in as plain English as I could, and I didn't even understand it.
Hmm.
I had to ask people that were doing Ace and stuff. I had to ask them like, what, like, does this make sense? Because I was watching people explain on YouTube from other videos about what was going on, and I try to get that information wrapped around my brain, write it in a script, and send it to these some other people that know Ace, and say, "Does this check out? Does this check out? You've done Ocarina of Time Ace. Does this check out?" Like, and they've had a bunch of like footnotes, like, "Oh no, this is that. That's that instead of what you said." So there was a lot of corrections made, but that was like I just had so many different ideas. I'm just like I don't know what I should do next. Like do I just keep doing same stuff for like Luigi's Mansion? Do I just become stuck being a Luigi's Mansion YouTuber? Like is that all I'll be? Or could I expand my horizons a little bit, even a little bit, just to like other similar like Nintendo games or whatever, or maybe even not Nintendo games at all. So that YouTube has been like a big like guessing game, and it's just trying to see what people would like, and a lot of the times you're gonna get those like hit or miss things where it's like this video may do really well, but a lot of these videos in a row may not hit the algorithm just because like people don't. Then maybe not a lot of people are interested in it like you are. So
Hmm.
it's always a guessing game. It's hard, but I'm still still trying to figure out what exactly they like that I put out. So
I will say, as a personal opinion, your editing impresses me.
thank you. I appreciate that very much. That was yeah, editing was like something that I started doing as memes. I started making memes with Sony Vegas back in the day, back in like 2014, 2015 with my friends, my speedrunning friends. And we were just making like really stupid memes and stuff, right? But then over time I wanted to make, other videos. I was also doing the Glitch Doctor, official Glitch Doctor stuff from back then. But then like later on, I just like when I try to rebrand my channel again to back to Glitch Doctor in 2021 to like reboot the channel. I'm like, I really wanted to like hone in on doing that stuff. And a big reason why I was able to actually like get back into the editing swing of things was because I was doing other editing jobs for other people. Shift, I mentioned earlier, was one of them. I was doing his highlight reels on his YouTube channel of just like stuff that he did on stream, and that was like getting me into like doing different things. His SpongeBob documentary, the first two parts that he's put out, I did some other like big edits. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna watch YouTube tutorials and see how it goes. And that's kind of what I did. And that's how I know a lot of this stuff now is just from tutorials. So yeah, that's all that stuff. Like these little paid jobs, they helped a lot. So with like getting into this editing swing of things and like getting the mindset, I watch people on YouTube like Nate Black who talk about how to get better on YouTube and what you can do to like improve. So like Nate Black was with Channel Makers, but now he's just like his own thing. So there's other people like that too, but I was doing a lot of YouTube tutorial watching for that stuff. So
Hmm. Well, I know you've done editing for other people as well.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Kevin Crunch, he's a homie. He's a Mario 64 runner, and I've done some stuff for him, some stream intros, some channel videos and stuff, and it's like, yeah, it was just getting into that sort of thing. I did some like one-off things that I didn't stick with for too long. I did one for Truman, the Mario World runner, who was making like Among Us highlight reels and stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm making Among Us videos. I'm trying to like put a story to it and like do a suspension at the end, like, oh, what happened next time? Oh, what's happening? Oh, I gotta watch that. Like trying to do like these like retention things to keep people to this other channel that I've never edited before to come back to watch more stuff. Like, yeah, I've had a lot of like different experiences over the time with doing that stuff. Among Us, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Well, I think I've really covered everything that I was going to ask.
Yeah,
So,
that's dude, this has been a great talk, honestly. Like I can feel
yeah,
my throat's a little sore, but you know what? No, this has been great. It's been chill. And thank you everyone for watching. Like
yes,
people on YouTube, people on Twitch.
hmm,
Thank you. Appreciate it.
yes, we're all about the chill here. That's for sure.
Absolutely. I know I probably brought more than chill vibes to this. I'm animated. When I get excited about something, I get excited about it. I'm sorry, I just can't help
I
it.
think
But
that's fine actually. So,
oh, dude, yeah.
um,
So that
well,
was
I
yeah.
can do my closing questions then. So
Okay,
first,
absolutely.
do you have future plans in terms of speedrunning or content?
So speedrunning, like I said, I do want to do more stuff. I do want to beat my times that I have for a lot of games now. I mentioned Luigi's Mansion. I want to get at least like a 55 in No Out of Bounds, and I think I was working towards like a sub 110 and 100%. And the grind before and leading up to the LTA kind of helped with that a little bit, but I wasn't able to get the 109, not even during the LTA. But um, yeah, like that stuff. Maybe even getting improved on any percent LM, but Toby 1. Uh maybe. I promised people I would do the PC version because that's like a different run where you load the game on an SSD compared to disc,
Mm.
GameCube disc on the Wii. Like it's night and day loading difference time. And I was like, yeah, I promised I'd do this, and I just never did it. So like maybe do some of that stuff, maybe improve my GameCube times a little more. Chibi Robo, maybe at some point that's a long game too, and
Mm.
it's a very like hit or miss with the runs. Like, you get bad RNG in this one spot, and then that's it. Like runs over. You spend 2 hours doing nothing basically. You gotta start over again, and it's like I don't have that time. But there's some stuff. Splinter Cell, I do want to improve that stuff too. It's just trying to find the time, and now I've got a job.
Mm.
I've got to do adult stuff, and it's like, ugh. And I also
Adult
want to do
stuff is the
YouTube.
worst. Yeah.
Dude, I know it sucks, but it's like I kind of need the money. I'm 26 right now, so it's kind of like,
Hey, me
yeah, I've got
too.
some more time in my youth. Hey, what up, dude?
But only for
Sick.
like
But
3
I'm
more
like,
weeks, so.
oh, there you go. Okay, I got you. So you're older than me. Gotcha. So
I have to assert dominant. No.
yeah, absolutely. No, I'm the baby.
Respect your
But
elders.
respect. Oh, dude, I know Bibbs would love that one. He does a lot of melee stuff. I tried doing melee and I
Mm.
just couldn't. But I'm getting off topic again
Yeah.
anyways. Um but as far as like the YouTube content stuff, that's what I've been more focused on ever since I rebooted my channel, more so than speedrunning.
Mhm.
And yeah, I've got ideas. There were some ideas. There's like one idea in particular that would be kind of big, but I don't know if I have the time to do it. And if I do, I'd want to try to travel overseas for it. I'm not gonna explain what it is
Holy.
because I'm just like just in case. But I don't know. I a lot of things are uncertain. I got a job. I got to spend a lot of time doing that before I can get days off and stuff. And it's just like, dude, I don't know what. Dude, that's a big thing. But like
Mm.
aside from like a big thing like that, there's other YouTube stuff that I want to do. It's just trying to figure out like, okay, what are people on YouTube gonna like? Like will they like some of this other stuff? I did a video recently talking about a game on the Xbox 360, The Walking Dead Survival Instinct, to be specific, that just did not work for me whatsoever. The Xbox wouldn't read it. I'm like, dude, I don't know what is happening.
Mm.
Or is my Xbox broken? Is the game broken? Turns out it's just my Xbox, and I still don't know why. But I did stuff like that really didn't do too well, and it's kind of like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
hit or miss again. But it's like I would do, like I said, I would do more documentaries because and I know I brought this up a few times, but this will be the last time I'll bring it up. Luigi's Mansion, any percent no out of bounds. I made that documentary with HD Lax and Jared's Giants, and that was done over the course of a few years. But it's
Mm.
not that it took a few years of work. There was a lot of pausing in between because people have, lives and stuff,
Yeah.
and I had to wait for voice lines. I had to wait to like find time to fix the script and all that. I had to wait and find time to edit everything before we can get it all into a finished product. I had big things in mind, um like making custom music tracks, which I
Mm.
bought FL Studio to learn to make music. I was watching people that make music online, like Bishu or Eliminate. They make EDM stuff, a lot of dubstep stuff. I like dubstep. I mean, that kind of fits my personality. Like, you like that? That sounds like trash, but it's like, dude, I don't know. It's just you get into a good beat, and it's like, okay, I like that. I want to see that in my documentary. I want to see stuff that I'm interested in my documentary. And
Mm.
so I was putting all that time into it. I want to get that special treatment. I want to give that to more my speed games that I've run, to Toby 1, to Chibi, like, stories that I know how to tell that I can tell, like, because I don't know, I just go up to a random speedrun community like Yoshi's Island. Hey, you mind if I make a video? Like, I don't really have like too much authority at all because I've never run Yoshi's Island for one thing. Like that's an example too, but it's just like I would rather do stuff that I know how to do that I can make really well and like make sure I got everything down to a T. But that's just for documentaries. For like one-off videos, yeah, I'll do stuff like I talked about Palace Skip and Thousand Year Door, Malio, and how he was doing that stuff.
Hmm.
But like, these are things that I wanted. These are like a lot of the ideas that I've got running through my head. I just want to find time to try to do it. So
Yeah, makes sense. Well, I understand that the LM video took a while because it was over an hour and a half.
yeah, I didn't think it was even gonna be that. Actually, no. I thought it was. I think it'd be longer or shorter than what it actually ended up being. I'm like an hour 40. Oh, okay, sure. It's a movie. Yeah,
Yeah,
but no,
yeah.
that was a lot of
I
fun too.
watched it today to prepare.
Thank you.
So,
I appreciate that.
um, I've obviously seen some of your other work, but with
Yeah,
Luigi's
thank you. I
Mansion Talk
appreciate
on the
that too.
horizon, I had to make sure I was ready for it. But
Right, I know. I'm sorry you had to digest an hour 40 worth of the game's history, and then I'm just dumping info on you for another 3 hours. It's like I can't remember all
it's a
this. Like,
sacrifice I'm willing to make, you know?
oh jeez, man. Like, no. Hey, listen, I'm appreciative that you taking the time out to invite me on the show. Like,
Mhm.
this was really cool. Like, and getting to explain my story sort of and like the stuff that I know, and hopefully maybe it'll get to more people's ears like, oh, that's actually really cool. Like, yeah, I would like to see that or something. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I guess the last thing I'll ask is you can self promote however you'd like to.
I think I've been promoting for the entire video at this
I
point,
guess
but
technically, but I always ask
yeah.
at the end.
Yeah, sure. It's YouTube Glitch Doctor, all one word. The URL is youtube.com/at official Glitch Doctor. So I still got the official Glitch Doctor handle from 2013 because I kind of set that back then.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just have Glitch Doctor as my name now. Uh, and my Twitch, which I don't even really go live on anymore, so I don't know why I'm advertising this, but twitch.tv/glitchphd, where I probably never go live. So if you want to follow for whatever, I don't know, sure, why not? But yeah, I've got that. Um,
YouTube's where the good
yeah,
stuff's at, though.
yeah, pretty much. That's where like all your stuff is, all the stuff that I do now. So
Mm.
yeah, I don't know.
Well,
That's pretty much it from my side. So yeah.
well, then I guess we're done here. Sounds
Thank you
like
very
we've,
much.
yeah, sounds like we've yapped long enough, got everything that's needed to be said out into the world, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Well, thank you for having me on GTA. This was great.
yeah,
I enjoyed
thank
this.
you for coming on the show. And,
And people on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget. Don't forget.
true.
This is great. There'll be more great interviews coming up, so keep an
And
eye out.
I have a ton already, so surely there's something somewhere in there
Absolutely.
as well. But yes, we will get out of here now. So I wave goodbye. Bye now.
Peace.
Bye.